we just reached a peak at this moment, but I have to do what I have to do for the bigger cause. So I'm documenting that Michael Taylor, the elected sheriff of Lake County, announces he's going to retire. And on January 25th of 2025, so it never makes one call about the 180 hours. So I'm documenting this stream for my safety because, again, now I've called out the elected sheriff for his dereliction of duty. I mean, he can discuss all these things that this wouldn't have got that far if he just made one call years ago. So I don't get callbacks. This was what he said. So today I removed the attorney of record, so I don't have counsel, and now I've called out the elected sheriff for being corrupt and put the community's safety in jeopardy, and that he is not ever returned a phone call to me, so not once. So I just called him out in public forum, and we'll read that. I'll go over that because, again, I have to document this. I should probably do that as quick as possible for my safety because of repercussion. They've already swatted my house once. So thanks for coming in. I'm going to read you here, and this is a documentation stream of what they're doing. The elected sheriff in this case, who I've been trying to get involved in this case from day one with corruption about 4 years ago, about my son getting involved in a crime with a rapist who I, had tried to get him before this ever happened, tried to do some kind of preventive. I had contact with probation parole department because my son had already had issues and didn't want him hanging around this felon, and ended up being a felon rapist on parole. Come on, Tucker, go. Wake up, puppy, see if you're coming through here. My apologies. So now the elected sheriff, again, who I've been trying to get involved about with this, my son and his 180 hours and swatting to my house now. So I'm going to have to do this for my safety once again. And Father will take care of me. Whatever's meant to happen will happen. But I do probably need this to break national now. I mean, this needs to get out there. I just called out an elected sheriff on a public forum because he's announcing he's retired. So I'm going to read this. Michael Taylor announces his announcement, his retirement on January 25th. So I respond to his response publicly. I've called your office for several years trying to have one conversation with you and had made dozens of requests to receive a call back from you directly. I've even called you and invited you to my property to discuss the corruption in your Lake County Sheriff's Office and the Probation and Parole Office. I've reported you that your parole department was not keeping track of a rapist that was released into our county and paid on a contract, and had showed your department the evidence that he admitted to being at the scene of a theft crime that involved 4 other teenagers. 100% evidence that he was involved in a theft crime and was at the scene. You convicted only 1 of 4 of the teenagers involved. I have to make an edit right there. I got 2 involves. I'm making an edit there. I said I think it's been involved twice or something. So I'm making an edit. Okay, well, let me see. So we made a couple edits, but no matter, said the same thing. Still the same event. So we're documenting for my safety because, again, anytime the state order comes swat my house again, or they can send one of these sheriffs out here to try to be stupid. So I've got the place locked up right now and shut up. So if they come in, they're going to have to bust through stuff like they did last time, run everything over, and they brought 20 plus SWAT men, all special weapon tactics with armored vehicles. So we'll see. Father will do whatever. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. All the teenagers received conviction, but not the rapist. Why? You failed to protect this county from a rapist that you were getting paid to have in the county. Is this why you never convicted him and victim? Because you would lose your funding if convicted. Again, I reported corruption within the Lake County Sheriff's Office and have documented evidence that you refuse to ever even make one call to me to address my safety concerns in your dereliction of duty as the elected sheriff in North Lake County. You failed this community. You put the community's safety in jeopardy. Evidence will show you made zero attempts to ever call my phone or meet and even have one conversation about the documented evidence I have concerning the community's safety and the corruption within your parole, probation, and North Lake County Sheriff's Department. Again, you failed this community and put the community's safety in jeopardy by your dereliction of duty. I'm not afraid to point out the corruption because I have evidence. There are many in this community who are afraid to speak up. I will be the voice for those who fear legal repercussion and targeting from the sheriff's office. I repeat, I've called for many years without ever receiving one call from you. You are a failure, and I have all the evidence to convict you. You never have made even one call or tried to meet me at the Silver Lake location when you offered to try to deal the Silver Lake location when offered to try to deal with this as professional courtesy elected Sheriff Michael Taylor. What about the 180 hours? Give me a call. His response is, Michael Taylor response, Tracy Werner, that's why you don't receive calls backs. That's why you don't receive callbacks. You're an absolute nutcase. So he's got 4 people supporting thinks it's funny that I'm reporting corruption in their town. So I have others that report it. I'm not going to tell who that is, but these are the people who are supporting the sheriff. So I'd make documentation of this. So the sheriff laughs. That means calls me a nutcase in a public forum. I don't think that was probably the best thing for him here, regardless if I have some kind of issues or something like that. Do I not deserve less enforcement, or am I like a second-class citizen because people might have some kind of, I don't have a disability. They're just mad that I'm pointing out that he's a corrupt sheriff and that he has not been, he's dereliction of duty. So I have to document the fact that it's continuing to go on in this county, and I have people coming forward for their safety. Oh, one second. We're all clear. I don't know. All right. Whatever. It is what it is. The Father will take care of this flesh, whatever he wants to do, this flesh of the Father. He writes all things, so I'm not concerned about my safety. I am concerned about the safety of this community. As you see, I just called out the elected sheriff on a public forum, and they go for them when I do it again. So I've had Bluetooth mode. I've had a couple people come forward, which is good. More. So I'm getting a list of people who are obviously not afraid to Bluetooth is connected. Point out this corruption. So we're going to go over this again for my safety. Safety of the community. We need to continue to document. I removed who has already requested to the courts to remove himself as legal counsel, who's never provided me any counsel. So I can expedite that process for him by removing his counsel, and I did that today. So I never did receive an email because I requested an immediate email once the motion was filed with the courts to remove Phil Studenberg as the attorney of record on the case. So there is no attorney. I'm concerned too because they're trying to take my son to a trial in 9 days and summons me as a criminal summons to a criminal summons. Okay, maybe I guess it's a criminal trial. I don't know. He said it was a criminal summons, a criminally summons, and that they are forcing us to take it to trial was what he said. They are forcing us. That is a Sixth Amendment violation. So fair trial. My concern is, again, is even under the Sixth Amendment that he has the right to call witness in his favor, and he hasn't been able to call. There's probably a list of 30 people that needs to be called if it's for his favor. So he's not even allowed to call witness So there's another Sixth Amendment violation. So I just don't know how to do this personally because I can't have contact with him. So I know they're going to have an issue right now because, you know, I don't have to have legal counsel to be called as a witness on a criminal case. So you don't have the right to counsel for witness in a criminal case or a trial against you. Yes, you do have the right to counsel. So, but I'm not sure. Again, I can't have any context. I don't know. Lord will provide. We'll see. I just shook the pot pretty hard right now with the calling out the elected sheriff. So maybe something. Well, maybe I'll get a call from somebody. You know, if the elected sheriff says I'm a nutcase on a public forum, maybe they'll send like some warrant to come get me because I'm crazy or something. Right? I've already hindered prosecution. Already entered with a peace officer. Peace warning. Who they remember, brothers and sisters? It says, those who say peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon those who call out for that peace and safety. So I warn you of those who say peace. More light on the subject. There we go. All right. So this is documentation of the calling, and then I'll put some more documentation on me calling the Phil Studenberg because I need to document more evidence. See, they're not even allowing my son to put up the evidence of the hundreds of hours of live streaming that he had trying to avoid being thrown in jail the first time, because there is evidence that Elijah Werner did his 180 hours and then was told at month 33 that he didn't, and he only had done 47 hours, which is not possible because it would show a violation of probation somewhere along that month between month one after getting out of jail. One of 5 guys to go to jail, only one involved in the same crime. One was a rapist. He didn't go to jail, and they all received convictions except for the rapist. So that is criminal, and I am pointing that out. So I'll point that out on this phone call. So let's get going. We'll hit it again, and then I have more to document because I have to for my safety. Maybe somebody in the news is going to call. Somebody had to call me from the Examiner or something. Something here. There's somebody with the news. I finally got a news content. It's all coming together here. Maybe before this goes to trial, the news will get a hold of it. They got to put a break on it somehow. So where do we find here we go. All right. So we're going to document this call that the elected sheriff puts on the community paper. Oh, with a sad heart, I got to retire. And then I already know that the chief of finance, Ted Martin, so we're going to have to do a different approach on this on my case. I can't do it for Elijah. They already violated his Sixth Amendment. So I will be calling the trial clerk tomorrow to make her aware that because of this violation of Sixth Amendment on the service of witness of the John Mogul, he said, which I have on the live stream, that they are forcing us to take it to trial, which means he's not going to get the afforded counsel. They're supposed to be doing this stuff, and you have certain rights. You have the right to, again, call witness, and if it's not fair, if they say they're forcing you. So definitely a Sixth Amendment violation right there, a couple of Sixth Amendments. So hopefully you'll be able to suspend this trial for a minute and get somebody to again address why the elected sheriff is calling me a nutcase. So let's get in this. All right, here we go. Sheriff Michael Taylor announces his retirement on January 25th to respond to his response publicly. I've called your office for several years trying to have one conversation with you and had made dozens of requests to receive a call back from you directly. I've even called you and invited you to my property to discuss the corruption in your Lake County Sheriff's Office and the Probation and Parole Office. I've reported to you that your parole department was not keeping track of a rapist that was released into our county and paid on a contract, and had showed your department the evidence that he admitted to being at the scene of a theft crime that involved 4 other teenagers. 100% evidence he was involved in a theft crime and was at the scene. You convicted only 1 of 4 of the teenagers involved. I'm going to have to make an edit right there. I got 2 involves. Edit 2 involves. Huh. I was like, okay, well, let me see. You convict only 1 of the 4 teenagers involved. I'll go took. Let's correct that too. I made a couple corrections about it's all 1 of the teenagers involved. Took him to jail, but not the other teenagers. All the teenagers received conviction, but not the rapist. Why? You failed to protect this county from a rapist that you were getting paid to have in the county. Is this why you never convicted him and victim? Because you would lose your funding of him if convicted? Again, I reported corruption within the Lake County Sheriff's Office and have documented evidence that you refused to ever even make 1 call to me to address my safety concerns and your dereliction of duty as the elected sheriff in North County. You failed this community. You put the community's safety in jeopardy. Evidence will show you made 0 attempts to ever call my phone or meet and even have 1 conversation about the documented evidence I have concerning the community's safety and the corruption within your parole, probation, and North Lake County Sheriff's Department. Again, you failed this community and put the community's safety in jeopardy by your dereliction of duty. I'm not afraid to point out the corruption because I have evidence. There are many in this community that who are afraid to speak up. I will be the voice for those who fear legal repercussion and targeting from the sheriff's office. I repeat, I've called for many years without ever receiving 1 call from you. You are a failure, and I have all the evidence to convict you. You never have made even one call or tried to meet me at the Silver Lake location when you offered to try to deal the Silver Lake location when offered to try to deal with this as professional courtesy. Elected Sheriff Michael Taylor, what about the 180 hours? Give me a call. His response is... Michael Taylor response, Tracy Werner, that's why you don't receive calls backs. That's why you don't receive callbacks. You're an absolute nutcase. So he's got 4 people supporting his, thinks it's funny that I'm reporting corruption in their town. So I have others that have reported. I'm not going to tell who that is, but these are the people who are supporting the sheriff. So I'd make documentation of this. All right, there we go. So I think we just upped the game. Did you guys hear that? Everybody get some audio on that. So that's me calling out the elected sheriff who is obviously not wanting to address. I don't think that would probably have been the best thing for him to put. Probably just been better not to respond at all to it. And so that's okay. I mean, callbacks, I don't get any callbacks. So he knows that I've called same many times. So years worth of calling. How long ago was I nuts when I called for him to help support the businesses in Lake County, help with the sheriff's office, bring these sheriffs out here, help our business so that these small businesses don't have to shutter their doors. Kathy, who eventually had to shutter her doors, at the farmhouse, trying to get the support of the sheriff's office. Elected sheriff could bring has more authority, could tell OSHA leave. No support, no support from the sheriff's office. Dereliction of duty at that point during the COVID. So they're still mad about me about that. So put memes on the internet about them and things like that. But I'm not going to run. I have more people now coming forward, so please help protect me, because somebody needs to look through my phone to find out who else was being targeted if they try to do something. The SWAT raid last time was live streamed, so I'm still here. I don't believe if I've been able was live streaming that live stream, I would be here today. I thank Father for this technology. So you're an instant, yeah. Why the low man on the totem pole, man? I've already called the feds, so Oh, you're one of those people. Why do people do the things in the walls? I don't know where you guys get that. Where's it? I've never seen that. I don't know what the whole thing is within the walls. Well, okay, bye. So, anyways, I got to continue to document this for the protection and the safety of the community. I mean, if there wasn't a rapist, come talk to me. How come nobody's ever called me about anything? He could have called me if there was an issue years ago. I don't get callbacks with the S. Obviously, they're going to show that I've called his phone, probably trying to call. I have phone documented here that I've called him. Hey, I've got issues with corruption, certain cases and certain officers and certain now this, not now his response on a public forum. The elected sheriff says, you don't get callbacks because you're a nutcase. So what is he going to do? Bring a warrant out here saying I'm a nut? I already have the Lake County Sheriff's Office and have recorded that I've called the Lake County Sheriff saying they're going to swap my house again and get a crazy warrant or something and come swap me again. So, interesting, huh? Glad that I'm a pastor and a teacher and I have understanding that Paul said in Ephesians 6:11, do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. So it's not physical. There's no, they're in the LED lights on your devices. They watch you. Okay, don't type in capital letters, please. Snuts, you'll have to leave. No more capital typing. That's true. They're in everything. They, whatever. It's not, you remember Edward Snowden was telling you they're watching you. So, all right, goodbye. You can't listen. See ya. Don't type in capital letters. That's only for moderators. They do that because normally I teach in here, so they get my attention. Now I even have first my eye. They shot me in the eye with the 5 tear gas canisters for my dogs. It's all been documented. Done this over and over. Who's nuts? They said SWAT warrant. They could have called me. He could have called me years ago. Instead, I'm permanently now and I'm going to have to go to the doctor. I'm having too much blood in my sinuses. It's getting more and more, getting some kind of pressure, and I know what it is. It's just too much tear gas. But it's okay, Father. Remember, Father's my final judgment on this. He is my, no, not Father. No. I don't want to. No, you don't want to be under Father. That's I am. He said before Abraham I am. But that's Shiloh. That's my love. That's the wedding. That's not. You don't want to go before Father. That's where the wages of sin was death. That's the laws of flesh. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Who's nuts there, Michael Taylor? That was the Torah, the law, before Christ. So don't tear Christ down from the tree. So lots of trolls on tonight, guys. Lots of people who are just not focused, and that's okay. Father makes vessels of wrath fitted for destruction from the foundation of the world. Those who take the broad way, who lead to the wide gate, and that's the gate that leads to the abyss. So I don't get to change. I can't change a goat into a sheep or a sheep into a goat. Thank you, Father, for already choosing your bride. Shiloh, my love, my Agape, my Shem. Yeah, no, you don't want to go for the Father. That's the wages of sin was death. I hope you understand what I'm a teacher and a pastor. Let vengeance be mine. I've never struck out. The state of Oregon swatted my house with 29 men. I tried to get them to call me for years, and they just never do. Instead, they just send men with guns. And even if you ask them, don't send men with guns, they still do. So careful. Lots of and armored vehicles. And so permanently damaged from this dereliction to duty, this elected sheriff out here to protect his community. And instead, they just sent a SWAT team out to my house. So couldn't get them to come talk to me, but he'll send a SWAT team. So brothers and sisters, I do have some concern for my safety. So please follow the channel. I do daily live streams, and I believe last time, if you want to see the SWAT warrant, is about 6 months ago, May 29th, 16-minute video, and it's very hard to watch for me. I've only ever watched it twice, but it does document me saying Elijah's 180 hours. They did. That's when you can see them at 45 seconds. Flash concussion headshot me with a concussion grenade, and now I'm having, again, obviously some issues with vision and then issues with hearing because it was it was a headshot. So and then they shot my son too. which was, I think, unnecessary. I don't even think the warrant was. We'll go a different route with it. I'm going to file because I've already removed the attorney. So I'm going to be making some motions in the court now, and I'll hopefully can get something started here. Maybe this will get some national attention or something. I don't know how to do it myself. It has to take father because I have tried for hundreds of hours. I did have probably hundreds of people call both Lake and Lane County before they ever SWAT raided the house, trying to get them to listen to me about these 180 hours that I was on the live stream. And so they didn't care. They still SWATted the house anyways. Kidnapped my daughter, didn't show probable cause to take her under Miranda rights. They have to show warrant signed by a judge. They're going to, execute a Miranda, removing your body, accosting your body. And they didn't have it. And that's illegal. So there's been a lot of legal goings on here, even by the state of Oregon. I do feel as if I'm at risk because I can't even leave the state now. And my son's here, so I don't really want to go anywhere, but I can't even talk to him. I don't even know how to get any kind of, I can't have, under a criminal conspiracy charge, I can't, class A misdemeanor criminal conspiracy, I can't have contact. He hasn't even been able to contact with his wife. So they put that against all of us so we couldn't have any contact. And I think the criminals here, obviously, is the state of Oregon, without even calling to see if my son even done the 80 hours, the 180 hours. Why, if I didn't, then why did I call Lake County Sheriff or Lake County Probation at 5 months asking if Elijah had done that? Why did I get a call? And why did they put me on hold and tell me he did and then not have any more hours? And then I said, no, I'm trying to get by advice of John, his attorney. See, I called John too. So his attorney and try to get counsel. So that's what I said in the phone conversation. Hey, I just spoke with Elijah's attorney and I'm his dad. I can't get all this information because I'm me, but I'm trying to make sure he has all his hours completed. Oh yeah, he does. No, we need to get a printout. I need to, some kind of, okay, let me put you on hold. Come back. So that one phone call, instead of getting 29 guys together with warrants, they couldn't have looked and see if that phone call was made. Those 2 phone calls were made. What about me going in and looking to see if Elijah had any hours at month 6? If he didn't complete his hours and left the county after 5 months after being the only one to go to jail of 5 guys, and the rapist doesn't go to jail, he does his probation, parole, or his community service work crew out here in the black van with 5 of their people as witness. And they all have phones, so cellular data will show where they went. So there's so many, what's up with that? He has right to try to prove his innocence here, with this 180 hours. How come that hasn't been called into trial in 9 days? Because we're taking him to trial only 2 days. I don't think they've summoned Tom, Dawn, Morgan, the 2 females that I've spoken about. Hundreds of hours. What of the hundreds of hours? Doesn't he get the hundreds of hours of live stream? It said YouTube in the discovery of evidence that, anonymous caller calls in, says if he said he would fight to the death. Yeah, I said he'd use my voice. I'm a teacher, pastor. I said, do not see. We stayed here. We didn't go out and nobody was hurt. There was no victim here. They say it's a violation of probation because he didn't complete his hours, but his hours were completed to leave the county. That was the terms of his release to begin with. Under the contract, if he has to complete the hours, he can leave. So he did leave. Month 6, he gets to Lane County from Lake County, and from the second largest to the first largest county, and nowhere does Ryan Solberg put on his action plan he needs to start hour 48. Why doesn't it say that there? Why didn't they look into see? I've been saying that I called Ryan Solberg to see if he can get off probation. They can contract. Elijah should be afforded to have Ryan Solberg and ask Ryan Solberg, didn't I ask you if I can get off probation? And he said I could because my hours completed. I just needed to pay the restitution. And there was no restitution to being paid for month 6 when I left the county because I didn't pay any for the first 5 months, and I didn't pay any And until actually month 18, he started paying it because I said, okay, contact Roy and Solberg. Why didn't they look into this? Instead, they sent 29 men with guns. And now I have the elected sheriff telling me I'm a nutcase. There's 20 some guys. I know that there were just everywhere. Plus the Lake County Sheriff's Office tyrants, Sam Bursch, Lance Brown, all of them. I'm sure they were all out here. I didn't get to see all of them. I only got to be brought to the back of the armored vehicle and never Mirandized once. Will the state of Oregon be able to show that they Mirandized me through body cam, through discovery of evidence, or will the Lake County sheriffs ever show that they've ever Mirandized me? So your right to legal counsel is part of your Miranda rights, and they violated that. So they haven't provided me legal counsel now for 6 months. The one who was after 6 months from a different county, because they don't have any available here for 6 months, steps up and immediately petitions to quit. And I've shown all this on this thing. So I've never had a counsel. I've never actually can show I've never had. So I've actually today, we'll go into this evidence because whatever, it's got to be brought out. It's going to get brought out. There's no way when you call out the elected sheriff on, online, it's going to stir the pot for sure. I've the last one already. If you've been targeted by this, police department and the sheriff's office, and people have come forward. So I do appreciate Father for, giving people the courage to come forward. So keep track of me, please, guys, because there are other people who have been put at jeopardy and have complaints. As soon as I put it up, two people contacted me immediately. So, and they say they have 4 people and 1 and all these other things. So, okay, let's see what we got here. I don't know what we're documenting.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call Dan Spencer now and let him know.
Oh, we're going to go before that.
John Mogul. Okay, I'm going to call Phil Studenberg's office and get an update. I'm going to remove him as counsel. He's not providing counsel. He's violated my Miranda rights by not even giving me any kind of counsel. A violation of my 6th Amendment by not providing any chance to provide witnesses in this case. December 11th, or excuse me, 15th. January 15th through 16th, a 2-day trial. There's a January 6th, some pre-trial.
Needed trial.
I have hundreds of hours of live streaming. I have, probably a list of 30 or 40 witnesses. I'm not at a chance. You've never given me any counsel, so I'm going to call to remove him as counsel. They're violating my Miranda rights by not providing me that counsel, and I haven't gotten no legal counsel. I've only been able to force him by discovery. Right of discovery for my evidence suppression. He even wasn't giving me my evidence. I had to force him by, telling I needed my discovery. That's all I've ever been is sent. So I had to make him. So he's never actually provided any legal counsel. I'm gonna go ahead and remove him immediately. It's 11:33 Monday on the Gregorian calendar.
2024 is the Gregorian calendar.
It's December. What's the date today? Make sure we document this. The 2nd, December 2nd, 11:30.
Another evidentiary live stream.
So I'm going to call Phil Studenberg, Klamath Falls, Oregon, attorney. I just did a search at the same time. It didn't pull it up. Gave me the wrong name.
It's a documentation live stream for my safety. We'll continue here.
Yes, I'm also very concerned about my son in this case, violation of his 6th Amendment right, not be able to call a witness to. So I would probably be calling Dan Spencer as well. There we go. Calling now, 11:32.
Thanks for your ear there, Elise. Thanks for coming in.
Morning, law office.
Yes, this is Tracy Werner. I'm trying to get an update. I've called last Friday to have Phil Studenberg call me back on an update on a change of venue. I haven't gotten any call. I've never gotten any updates from you guys. I'm not getting any counsel. So, has that been filed? Has he put in the change of venue? Has anything been done on that case? As called.
So we were not open on Friday. We were just getting back into the office today. So I don't see that anything's been filed.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is now, because I'm not being provided counsel, and my Sixth Amendment has been violated by just no counsel and my Miranda rights. So I'm going to remove him immediately as my attorney. I know he's already requested to be removed and has not been approved by the judge. That's why I called you to let you know on that message. So, but I'm giving you notice that I am removing him as legal counsel. So I need him to immediately file with the courts today that I'm removing him as the attorney on record. Is not his own filing to ask. I am removing him, so they can't deny that. So please have him be removed as my attorney of record, because he's not provided failed dereliction of duty and provided. I'm not sure why he hasn't done anything. So just backing off shows that he's not done anything other than try to not be the attorney on record, and hasn't provided me any legal counsel. So I'm removing him. Please have him immediately contact the court systems, Ted Martin, the district attorney, and Judge Vandenberg, to let them know that he's not my attorney. I'm removing him right now. You're being recorded, and I'm putting this on record. Okay, can you have that done for me, please?
I will let you know.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the call to Phil Studenberg today to remove counsel, which is not counsel because he never provided counsel, but I have to remove him because he's petitioned Judge Vandenberg and he has not approved it. So I did a call earlier about calling the clerk court because I have to report changes that I am filing for change of venue because of multiple Sixth Amendment violations myself. So somehow these cases are again related, because I have been documenting that when they came to service by my son's counsel, Dan Spencer, who I'll call, who doesn't take my calls, he just dumps my calls. So I don't have any chance to call him. I make attempts, a couple. I don't continue to call more than a couple times, but I call his office and they just it doesn't even send me to voicemail. They just, my call the call goes, it ends. So obviously they're just not sure exactly how that's done. Maybe it's a block on it or something like that, but they won't take my calls. So this is my son's counsel, and they're violating his Miranda rights under the to provide him counsel. And then a Sixth Amendment violation is a fair trial, and then a right to call, in a criminal trial. They're trying to bring him up on criminal charges when he had already done everything. There should be no charges on Elijah Werner at all. He should not have charges. Once his 180 hours or 100% probably can be documented 50 ways by 5 witnesses, by cellular data showing they all bring phones with them too, wherever you go. Terms of release from county, from one lake to lane, was he had to complete the community service, the work crew, road crew hour, and he did that. And so to show that he did it, there was no call for any community service to be on his action plan at 17 months, nor was it 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, or 7, or 6 had any call for any community service. He would have had to sign up in those months and would have been done at 6 months if he had hours to complete that he had not completed in Lake County. So he completed his terms of release by getting on the bus, black van, at least just one day in a week, which he did work at least one day a week. I know they don't, get all the days, but he did work multiple days in some of the weeks. So one day a week times 4 days in a month, that's 32 hours times 5 months is 160, leaves him shy of 20 hours, plus 20 would be the hours that he worked multiple days at the fire station with witness Chad, the fire chief, out there, all the hazing that went on because he got paint on his pants. There's too many witnesses on that. His conversation with me about raking the fairgrounds multiple times. We've had, that he's been sent and he was trying to get, get out of here, and he's, was trying to also not be, one day a week was good because he can get the things he needed done and do the things he needed to do. But there were some days she was working in 2 and 3 days in a week at the dunes and things like that. So his cellular data will show where he went either way. He would have had to sign up for community service at month 6 on his action plan. Ryan Solberg would have called for him to have community service. There would have never been, why didn't they, before they SWAT this house, see if there was ever a call made to Ryan Solberg? Why didn't they get Ryan Solberg and ask Ryan Solberg, did Elijah ever contact you about getting off of probation early because he had already completed all his community service hours? And did you ever talk to him about that? See, Elijah gets to bring Ryan Solberg in as witness. They're not allowing none of this. So they're definitely violating his 6th Amendment right to criminal trial, to call witness in favor, and as well as fair trial. So this whole 180 hours, when I asked the investigator on his case, that's supposed to be as a counsel, there is a assigned investigator. He came here and he said that they're being forced to take it to trial. Forced is enough. That's a 6th Amendment violation. He can't get a fair trial. If you're forced to take it to trial, that they're supposed to be preparing him for trial, not forced to. That's a 6th Amendment violation. So, and I have all this documented on this live stream on High Desert Faith and Truth as well. So all this has been clearly documented. I've done this, and I've also contacted these agencies to continue documenting the evidence. And so this live stream is a documentation of the call to Phil Studenberg, the documentation of me just calling out the elected sheriff, and then just a couple hours ago telling him that he's, is a dereliction of duty, is a failure. He put the community's safety in jeopardy by allowing a rapist to run around. This is the man he didn't convict, but he did convict my son. Not him personally, but he is aware of this going on. He is the elected sheriff. He is the high seat. He's the seated elected sheriff. So he has, more authority than anybody, more than the FBI, if you knew it, but more than the DOJ. So let me see. I'll probably get more. Let's see. How do they call go? Your attorney. Okay, cool. So, anyways, the nutcase, I'm a little concerned for my safety. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this will get somebody's attention. I know that people got eyes on me now. Now they know I've called out the elected sheriff for being corrupt, and so there's nobody. I mean, if they come after me now, it's been documented that, and this community knows what I'm after now. There are people who are contacting me. I've had multiple people contact me today after, two today, and multiple people here in the last couple, since these postings, several. This is at least, it's a growing list. So people are coming out of the woodwork because they are fear. That's what my earlier email said, my response, not email, on to him. He announces that he's retiring, and that's very offensive because he's going to get out of here before he ever makes a single call. So, Pastor Apocalypse, Pastor Revelation, I'm going to say something. And like my dad said, my mouth's probably going to get me more trouble than my hands and my feet, but I'm not striking out at anybody. I have a First Amendment right to free speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of the press. Congress shall establish no law prohibiting the exercise prohibiting the exercise of free speech. So can't yell fire in a theater, but I can call him out on corruption. And probably the worst mistake he made there was calling me a nutcase on a public forum. I don't think elected sheriff should have made that choice. I think he could have not responded. Maybe looked at getting a hold of the moderator on this channel and say, hey, this post needs to come down. Pull some weight, I don't know, but turn around and say, the reason you don't get callbacks is because you're a nutcase. So I'm a little concerned, and I already had the Lake County Sheriff's department say they're going to get a SWAT warrant because the town thinks I'm crazy and they're going to come execute another warrant out here. I need to stop live streaming and stop doing this. And so I got to continue. That's just the way it is. Life's not Burger King. Can't always have it your way. So, all right, let's see. What do we got here? Oh, gosh. Yes. Let's see. We're getting any. All right. Now you guys are being quiet. That's all right. I know. Tabernacles, baby. It's intense. Wandering Jews in the desert. So, birthing pains and increasing in intensity. That's how she girds, how she goes. That was some Pug 1. So, thank you, Father. I'm probably more concerned, now than I ever been for, this. I don't know, whatever it is, what it is. I put all the fencing back up today, what they ran over. I mean, I didn't get it all, but I've been working on it just for my own safety. I have created a barrier again. They come in here now again. They're going to have to wreck it all again. So, Father, please do whatever you will do, whatever they want to do with it. It's not my worry. Give me the strength to continue. Please, Father, let your will be done, and Shiloh, my act and make, because it's all I care about. It's my love, Shiloh, and under this Agape. I can't strike back. I got to just use my mouth. Know that my judgments will come after my death. I'm not accountable for the things I do on this rock, but I'm not a dead man. Corp. I'm not a corporation, so I'm not capital letters. I refuse to go down in history as capital letters. You can be capital letters and celebrate and do all these things and given this beast, neuter gender it, but I will stand against it, and with not violence. I'll stand using my voice and be the voice, as I said in the message, for those who can't, those who fear targeting. There are people who will stand up. Father sends, and he made me. I am Apocalypse. Remember, I'm a nutbag, the sheriff says. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to do anything about corruption in your town? I love all the laugh. A couple of people laugh and all the people support them. It's always the same people, though. These are the bootlickers. People who love the beast, love the neuter gender it, love the taxation. No taxation without representation. Corporation. I'm not a corp. I'm not a dead man. I'm not a straw man. You won't extort my bond. I'm going to take it back. I'm going to file some there's, if they whack me, then I can't, but that's maybe Father doing it. They already brought 20 plus men with guns and armored vehicles and wrecked this property. And like I said, you can see it in this side of my face. Looks like it's kind of had a stroke. I have physical damage to my eye. And now I am concerned. I don't know. I don't want to go to a hospital or a doctor. I refuse to go. So I don't know. Maybe I find somebody else can take a look at me or something to figure out what's going on with my sinuses. I have a lot of pressure and feels dry, like it's cracking and pressure. And I know what that means, because when you're coughing up, blood through your sinuses, I have an issue. So it's by breathing tear gas for too many weeks in a row, and then I just recently agitated the problem that was already a problem for, the 4 or 5. I'm the nutcase because I stayed in here said, okay, can I just get some numbers, please? For my dogs, there's animals in here, please. I just, asked them to and that's all I would. If I had the animals, I could have left. I would not have permanent damage I would have permanent damage to my face and my eye and my ear, hearing, but I wouldn't have the damage that I have to my lungs or my sinuses, I believe, are wrecked. And again, I've had some couple of people approach me and say, you can't breathe. You should know that. You're a veteran and stuff, but I don't know. I'm in the moment, brothers, sisters, I'm concerned that they're going to try to illegally prosecute my son. And so I have to make sure that I become the evidence, if you will. So they throw my body in jail and put felony charges against me for hindering prosecution. Isn't that a beautiful charge? Hindering prosecution, 2 felony counts of hindering prosecution. I like that's like standing against the law. Yeah, I won't let you prosecute him. You let him, I don't want to make him have to eat a big meat cock meat sandwich, or get double stuff from behind. I threw my ass on the line for him. It is what it is. So 28 people. I think it's just shadow ban the chat. They don't let the chat roll anymore. I apologize, guys. They've wrecked this chat too. There's no more chat in this thing. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. The notifications are gone. The channel's definitely been. I apologize if you come here for the gospel, and there's a lot of other things going on here, but that's what Christ did. He said, conform to my image, and they threw him in jail for standing against the halakha, the perverting of the Torah, the law. Deuteronomy. Remember, he talked about not having that bill of marriage of release the witnesses. You have to declare 2 witnesses, and all the different changes that were made to they made their own version, their own agape, their own shem, their own authority, the Pharisees. Remember, they took the Torah and turned it into the Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. They turned it into the Targum. Their Mishnah, they made an oral, like Moses was given the law on the Mount. It was written on stone. They made an oral and a written law. And that was the law called halakha. I don't know anybody else other than Brother Jim can teach you this. They had a Haggadah. See, the halakha, it was that oral law you could speak, but you couldn't write it down. And then there was their written law, the Haggadah, you could write it down, but you couldn't speak it. So there's not any, I don't know any pastors I could speak to. Talmud. This was the Talmud or their Targum. That's right. Or the Mishnah. Same perversion of their oral and written law, which was a perversion. That's why Christ came back and they threw him in jail, because he wouldn't go. You couldn't eat wheat on the Sabbath. He ate wheat on the Sabbath. Okay. There was things he did that was against their perverted law. They had made it where you could, if you were out in the field and, corn fell off the back of the cart and it hit the ground, it was to stay on the ground. It wasn't to be picked back up and put back on the cart. And Christ was ripping their, because he had made this, you forward in my agape. He'd talked to, made his changes from, physical adultery to, if you covet another man's wife is an adultery. So he started making this agape, this New Testament, here when he was on this rock, because he turned that from a physical to, like, you even think about it, you use your, you better not. So well, that's stupid. They believe a lot of nonsense too. They also believe that there's demons, gods in the sky, that balls in the sky are gods, and that they're men, and they're, January, Giannis, the true face, all this. So Kronos, time, the Kronos time marker, Saturn, all these. They thought there was a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper around, the North Star. So they were idiots. They were celestial ding dongs. Hello, I don't know. Candy, cane, ho, 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 crumpus, eat your kids. So snakes on a pole. No, they hung him from a tree. They staked him, yoked him, and raised him, and staked him, cleated his feet, staked his feet, and stretched. It was a torture. Nobody knows anything about what they did to my love, what they did to his flesh. I could go interview 97% of teachers or pastors or deacons or chaplains or reverends or bishops. I don't care who they are, and they don't know they don't know the actual Roman torture. They've never actually studied. You couldn't leave you couldn't torture a Roman citizen, right? The way he was from Nazareth. See? Oh, very good. Oh, yeah. It was that water that dripped down on the mercy seat. Hallelujah. So, beard blood, brothers and sisters, beard blood. They ripped his beard out of his face. People don't know what they did. pastors and deacons and chaplains and reverends are heathenist men who do the works of the Father. They were just like at the time of Christ. He said, you do your works of the father, the devil. These are the synagogues of Satan, the adversary to the Father. Shiloh, in the flesh, Pisces, Vesical Pisces, born of the birth of the water through the amniotic fluid, through the virgin birth. Not from above, without Aries the ram, I am, he said, before Abraham was I am. But Shiloh, my love, the one who will return and crown in this age, we're there. Welcome to the new age. I'm the nutcase. The sheriff, elected sheriff, calls me. I'm a nutcase. He don't call me back about corruption in his police department because I'm a nutcase. Not very smart there, Michael Taylor, sheriff, criminal. Man, that dude's going to get to sneak out the back door, isn't he? Nope. Father will pass judgments on him. None of us, seventh seal, seventh trumpet, seventh horn, seventh shofar. It's a cosmos. It's an orderly arrangement of seals. Trumpets will sound before that great and dreadful day of the Lord. Then the dead will be raised from the ashes and the dust. Then Shiloh, redemption, will crown his in this age of the water. No, the age of the air. Somebody's got to die for the will to receive the inheritance. The meek will inherit the earth. Meek, not weak. Thank you, Father, for giving me strength to stand up to this elected sheriff and call him out for his criminal. Could have called me for years. You don't deserve the right to, even if I'm a nutcase, so I don't get, the sheriff doesn't come out and talk to me from a nut. What if I'm a little bit, right? What am I, a little woo, 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 or whatever? I don't know. I don't deserve the right of community service and public servant and protection of my, I don't. All right. It's taking all people that have any kind of mental issue, just throw them away. They don't deserve any protection. Just throw them to the wolves. What an idiot to say that on a public forum, man. That's a poor choice of words. He should have thought before he even posted that comment to my, hey, you got corruption. I've been reporting for years. Here, this is the case. This, gave a bunch of specifics. You don't get callbacks because you're the nutcase. Nutcase. Callbacks because you're a nutcase. Not a good call, Michael Sheriff. Michael. Father will pass judgments, and I don't think that hopefully some of these people in this county will look at that and see. Now, this is the man who's supposed to be protecting me. This guy's calling out corruption, and he's calling him a nutcase in an open forum? Isn't that defamation of character? Anyways, it doesn't matter. Father will pass judgments on my character and my my character. So not probably the wisest thing to do. He probably should have paused for a moment. But wait, maybe I shouldn't respond to this guy. Don't you respond to nutcases? I don't think you would respond to a nutcase, to be honest with you, brothers and sisters. I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't respond to a nutcase. You know what I mean? Like, Tracy, you don't never, Apocalypse, Pastor, you don't ever shut up. Okay, but I'm just saying, there's a time and a place. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes. I don't know that right now. I should, but I can't. I'm all in. My son's like 8 days from being thrown to trial, and they're going to try to throw him in a rape cage. So he's not getting legal counsel, Sixth Amendment violations all over the place of his constitutional rights. And so gotta get their attention somehow. They're not going to throw him in a cage. They're not. I have the proof. Elijah Werner has done all his community service and completed his terms of release from Lake to Lane County. So when you call did you see, I don't know if Lisa, you weren't in here. Lisa, you weren't in here. So we're going to go ahead because you weren't in here. We're going to do it again. Okay, ready, Lisa? We're going to go over, since you're the only one in here and the only one talking. You guys are quiet. That's okay. It's an evidentiary stream. You have the right to remain silent. This is your Miranda rights. That's your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Anything you say will and do be used against you. Notice I didn't say can. Did you see that? You didn't, it slipped right by you, didn't, huh? Devil's in the details. Yes, you have the right to use your First Amendment and speak up, but you have the right before you speak up to legal counsel. Anything you say will and do. Just leave the can out of it. That's just pointless. It doesn't mean can. Like that's an option. Like can. Ooh, they might as well have put might. Anything you say might be used and will be used and will be used against you. See? Isn't that can stupid? Kick that can down the road. Devil's in the details, brothers, sisters. Careful. Devil's in the details. Green needle. Brainstorm. All right. I'm the nutcase. I just got called the nutcase by the elected sheriff. That's crazy. That's actually pretty hilarious. So let's talk. Let's go back. We'll do the documentary stream for the purpose of evidentiary purposes, and we'll go back to the live stream where the elected sheriff calls me a nutcase.
Michael Taylor announces his announcement, his retirement on January 25th. So I respond to
Can you hear that okay?
Response
Lisa?
publicly. I've called your office for several years trying to have one conversation with you and had made dozens of requests to receive a call back from you directly. I've even called you and invited you to my property to discuss the corruption in your Lake County Sheriff's Office and the Probation and Parole Office. I've reported to you that your parole department was not keeping track of a rapist that was released into our county and paid on a contract, and had showed your department the evidence that he admitted to being at the scene of a theft involved 4 other teenagers. 100% evidence he was involved in a theft crime and was at the scene. You convicted only 1 of 4 of the teenagers involved. I'm going to have to make an edit right there. I got 2 involves. Edit 2 involves.
I got to do this for my safety, Lisa. I just called the elected sheriff out.
Let me see.
Some people might not say this is probably not the smartest thing to do, Tracy. Whatever. Don't call me Tracy.
You convict only 1 of the 4 teenagers involved.
Revelation. So I'm making some corrections. I put a couple. I did correct it a couple times online, and some of the wording, but no matter. It's still the same thing that I was saying. It still doesn't matter. It's still the fact, you know.
1 of the teenagers involved.
I just talked about. I said 1 of 4, so I just changed that to.
Took him to jail, but not the other teenagers. All the teenagers received conviction, but not the rapist. Why? You failed to protect this county from a rapist that you were getting paid to have in the county. Is this why you never convicted him and victim, because you would lose your funding of him if convicted? Again, I reported corruption within the Lake County Sheriff's Office and have documented evidence that you refused to ever even make 1 call to me to address my safety concerns and your dereliction of duty as the elected sheriff in North Lake County. You failed this community. You put the community's safety in jeopardy. Evidence will show you made 0 attempts to ever call my phone or meet and even have 1 conversation about the documented evidence I have concerning the community's safety and the corruption within your parole, probation, and North Lake County Sheriff's Department. Again, you failed this community and put the community's safety in jeopardy by your dereliction of duty. I'm not afraid to point out the corruption because I have evidence. There are many in this community who are afraid to speak up. I will be the voice for those who fear legal repercussion and targeting from the sheriff's office. I repeat, I've called for many years without ever receiving 1 call from you. You are a failure, and I have all the evidence to convict you. You never have made even one call or tried to meet me at the Silver Lake location when you offered to try to deal the Silver Lake location when offered to try to deal with this as professional courtesy. Elected Sheriff Michael Taylor, what about the 180 hours? Give me a call. His response is, Michael Taylor response, Tracy Werner, that's why you don't receive calls backs. That's why you don't receive callbacks. You're an absolute nutcase. So he's got 4 people supporting this.
There's some people who support him.
Thinks it's funny that I'm reporting corruption.
Laugh and a couple thumbs up. So that's the response of the Sheriff Michael Taylor, who I've tried to get the attention of for years about corruption with Sergeant Rourke, with cases that I've dealt with, have theft crimes, and him Sergeant Rourke being involved with conviction of people who shouldn't be convicted in the COF. Ted Martin, remember, he's the chief of finance, so he's got his clerk in on this, acting in an administrative capacity, and actually doesn't have jurisdiction. So after this, they're gonna have to come take care of me, and they tried to do it already once, which I'm hoping they don't do it again. If they do it, oh well. They've martyred me, and they've made God's word come to fruition. He said, "You will be persecuted for my Shem, for my Agape, for my love, for my name's sake." So they will just make the word of God come to fruition. I don't believe I deserve any scarring of my body, and I already have received permanent damage. Again, I probably do need to get to some kind of somebody to check me out to find out what's going on. I'm pushing really hard because my time is running short. They're trying to convict my son, and there's a court case, trial in 8 days, and that would last. So in 10 days, my son could be in prison. And that's not, they're violating this. Why would Elijah go to prison? He already did his 180 hours. So maybe this call, or maybe this calling him out in a public forum will get somebody looking, go, what the fuck is this guy talking? He just called out the elected sheriff. He said he's going to be the voice of, and the dude called him out as you're an absolute nutcase. You didn't get callbacks because you're an absolute nutcase. The sheriff's response to my response to him about no calls for years, which I have documented. And I'm sure Lisa's been on here for at least one of them where I'm documenting me calling about the corruption within his department that he never calls me about, ever. I'm a nutcase, huh? So I got some, I don't normally do this. I found some stuff, didn't have corn syrup, no sugar. It was all natural, and I don't normally do any kind of a little bland, but I don't normally just drink water. But made whatever that was. It was some kind of, I looked at the ingredients. I actually had some, wasn't crap, so, and not a natural, not a fake sweetener. So a little mild, but it's okay. All right. So I am concerned again. I have had several people come forward. I did have somebody come forward today, trying to get me to hold of, the chief editor for, the paper here in the area, which will be good, which he's already done a cover story on the corruption out here. So, things are progressing. If I can not get myself shot again, and I mean, they brought a lot of guns out here last time, guys. That was a lot of guns. That was a lot of guns. And any one of those could have taken my life out. So I thank Father that I don't even can imagine how many guns there were, because I'm sure they all had sidearms and MP5s and, decked out to the hilt. Special weapons and tactics weren't called out on Tracy because he's holding his son, because they won't let him put him in jail because he has the evidence to prove he already did the time, the time they're saying he didn't. So I'm the bad man because I know my son did the time. I have 100 ways to show that he did. And still to this day, in 8 days, they're trying to take my son to trial. And when asked the investigator for his counsel about the 180 hours, completed hours that Elijah completed, he said he didn't know anything about those hours. You could tell it didn't. I don't think he's done anything. Most of these people used to just shoving these things right through. 97% of cases take a gain for the corporation, for your straw man, your dead man, your corporation law, your capital letter law man, your Wizard of Oz. I'll get you in your little dog, Toto, too, So, flying monkey, maritime, try to get you to be in, maritime, that's sea, bar gain, as a bar, for the bar. That's like a sand bar, ocean, the bar, put your money in the bank on the side, in the bank, sand, bank, side of a bank, river bank, currency, put your currency, become an inmate, extort your future currency through your bond, through the exchange from the judge who's acting as administrator and a clerk, not actually in a judicial capacity. So I will make changes here in the next day or two if I can hopefully provide these changes for my son. I can't do anything to have any contact with him, but somehow with my case, they'll look at it and say, this is the same case, man. His dad got himself put in jail because of his son. He became the evidence. He jumped in front of his son's evidence, said, all right, I'll be the evidence. Throw me in jail, throw me in prison then. If you want to look at Elijah's 180 hours, and hey, what about Elijah's 180 hours? All the hundreds of hours of streaming about the 180 hours, making myself evidence. So they can't not bring it up in my case. There's no way in hell they'll not be able to bring up Elijah's 880 hours in my case. I said it during the SWAT warrant. He said it during the SWAT warrant. It's probably said 5,000 times in the last 6 months. 180 hours, that he had done to complete his terms of community service. They got to let it go. They're going to have to let it go. But we'll see if I can make it to the next time where I can actually make some filings. I am very concerned out here, being alone out here in the middle of this desert, and the farmers, they're known for just doing whatever they want out here. And, cause they got the money and they run roughshod with the popos, the tyrants, the corporate thugs who go out and extort your bond, your straw man, your dead man, your corporate name in the capital letters on your driver's license. So it's all capital letters. So that's a violation of your constitutional rights. You're not a corporation, or you dead man. You're not statutes, a statute, that's dead, right? Like dead, like corp. Notice this verbiage, brothers, sisters. People don't get it. So I'm going to have to use the father's law in this case, and remove their authority. I know what I have to do. So if I can get myself into court one more time, or not court, but file the motions, man, this eye is so bad. Okay, so, but I'll be able to, because I don't have counsel now. There's things I can do at this point. I'm gonna have to wait for this public pretender. He's working for the bar too. He works for the chief of, finance of the district attorney, who's, making all this bar gain, trying to get my bond, trying to go after my bond. And I'm smarter than that. So father's already provided the way. So, yep, they'll know. Like I said, that's already, you just seen, already documented that I'm removed the attorney, so that the attorney couldn't get it signed, the judge to sign off it. You heard me ask that lady at the trial clerk, has he opened up the window yet? Has he seen it? Sir, I can't tell that to you. Oh man, I almost had it. She almost was being nice. She almost gave me the information whether he'd actually opened it up in his window. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm going to take the authority away. This judge is not even acting in a judicial capacity. So I know that I can challenge his put in whatever. I ain't afraid. Whatever it is, I die before I file this. It is what it is. If they find out, I'm still going to file it anyway. So I'm going to take my bond back from them. I am going to, since I don't have counsel now, and I will act as my own, and I'll file a motion for power of attorney on my behalf, on my corporation dead straw man, and subjugate my bond and file a motion for subjugation, and then challenge the jurisdiction of the judge, telling him he's acting as an administrator, not in a judicial capacity, because he's not in the third, but the first in the fourth, which is third, is actually in a judicial capacity, and he's not. He's acting as administrator. He's a clerk for the chief of finance. So Ted Martin. So Vandenberg is not actually a judge. He's not acting in a judicial capacity. So checkmate. If they'll come kill me, Rose Sisters, that's how I was gonna, that's how I'm gonna take this back, because I'm gonna take my bond, and then they have to drop all this, because if they want the bond, then they're gonna have to prove that they have jurisdiction, and they don't have jurisdiction to begin with, because they're only a first and fourth, not a third circuit. So they're not actually the administrator, and they're acting in an administrative, not a judicial capacity. So, because they're trying to extort my straw man, get me to say I'm in capital letters, and my name is not written in capital letters. I've made that statement from the time of arrest. From the time of arrest, I never even said my name. I said I am Apocalypse. I am Revelation. And they said, well, that's not your name. That's false official statement to a police officer. You get another charge. So, but I made it clear that my name is not written in capital letters. It's capital T, small r, small a, small c, small y. Capital J, small o, small h, small n. Capital W, small e, small r, small n, small e, small r. I'm not a corp. I don't follow statutes. That's not legal, So this is the only way. I can't do this for my son, but I will take my bond back, and I will challenge this judge for jurisdiction. He can't prove. There's no way he can prove. He does not. He's acting in administrative capacity. So he's just a clerk, and I'll challenge. That's all he is. He's just a clerk. He's not actually criminal. There's crimes of commerce are not. Those are all crimes or crimes of commerce under that statute, mandate, corporation, a code, because they're trying to ORS statute. I'm not a statute. I'm not a dead man. I know my rights. So you can't convict me I'm not a dead straw man. So I'll take my power of attorney, file for that, and then I will act on my behalf and stand in to take that bond that they're trying to take from me and take it from them, and tell them, if you want to challenge it, you can challenge it but you have to prove that you have judicial capacity, and you're acting in a judicial capacity, and you're not, because you're not in the Third Circuit Court. So they lose, because it's administrative in the first, and it's territorial in the fourth. So that's not third. So that's not judicial. That's administrative. So I gave him a chance, to drop all these cases, but they're just not, they're so used to pushing this through. So I'll have to act out. And then somehow, no matter what happens to my son, I'll get myself out from underneath this, and then I will provide counsel for my son. Even if they convict him, I will get the same information. He'll be able to do the same exact thing and file, because if they do, they've convicted him they've already violated his Sixth Amendment. So they can't. If anybody goes and looks at this on appeal, which it should, there's no way this case for police targeting, it can't today with that statement that I made today, there's no way that this can't. I am saying in an open public forum that the elected sheriff is corrupt, put the safety of the community at risk, dereliction of duty, and is a failure, and convict him, can have evidence to convict that he is not looked into any of the information that I've said. So instead, he turned around and said that you don't get callbacks because you're an absolute nutcase. So it's done. Thank you. Michael Taylor announced his retirement on January 25th of 2025, and I responded because I wanted his bond to compensate my son with, and I don't know what's going to happen to me. I might have to go get something done about my face. That's really close to my brain. I'm really flirting with disaster, if you will. I should probably go get it checked, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to push harder. So It is what it is. I don't have time now. Like I said, 10 days. I wish maybe I tried so hard to get these people in open court. Drop this case. You've never even Mirandized me. No, I don't want to hear you're close. You tell me when. No, what? No, if you're going to have him drive all the way down here 5 hours and her, 4 or 5 hours, no, you tell me when. If you're not going to drop this, why would you have him drive here? If you're not going to drop this case, you tell me when you're going to drop it. Well, you're getting close. No, I don't want to hear that. That's not an answer. Administrator Clerk Vandenberg. That's not the answer. I want a date. I want dates. This was a date of conviction. Well, next month, we'll drop. So I had pushed him to, and now I remember the investigator for my son's attorney, his counsel, comes over, and asks this man about, the 180 hours. He knows nothing of that. Violation of Elijah's Sixth Amendment right to call counsel. He doesn't. His list is 30 or 40 people. Guarantee, how are they going to get me on the list now? Well, they got me on the list, I'll show up. But what do you think I'm going to say in an open court? So I think they're going to try to get me for contempt of court. So, because that's one way, but it doesn't matter. I will still be able to operate no matter what. They can't refuse my filings, so my motions. So I know how to take care of this point. I'm not concerned for me. I'm concerned for my son, and then other people who are caught up in the system, just like my son, who have the evidence, but they don't want to look at it. I don't know if there's been a case where you can prove the evidence that they actually did the, hours the community services have done, and then, years later they SWAT the house, and of trying to get them to look at all the evidence. They just SWAT the house anyway. So a massive excessive force violation to my right. They destroyed this property. They caused massive physical damage. I burned so much wood. Like I said, I can't keep this cabin warm on these days when it's 9 degrees in single digits in the teens. It does, it's just a cabin. So I didn't build it with all like the other Rusty Dragon. I built that thing. It'll stay, but I'm not staying in. This is this is the classroom. This is where I'm at. This is where, anyway. All right. So another documentation. Let's do another documentation here of me calling Dan Spencer, trying to get a hold of him to see if he's corruption in their town. So I have others that have see if I can contact him, let him know that Elijah's Sixth Amendment has been violated and that he's not providing the counsel, because his investigator came out and said that we are forced to take this to trial. So they are forced is a violation of the Sixth Amendment. You can't be forced to take. They're supposed to be providing the counsel to get him the evidence he needs to clear him conviction, and they're not doing anything of the sort. Nothing of the sort. So when asked the state investigator, or the Lake County works for Dan Spencer, the investigator, about the 180 hours, he didn't know anything about it. That's rather very alarming. I find that very, 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 very alarming. So let's go into this. I think I tried to call Dan Spencer. So I know that I'm not getting my chat's getting shadow banned. That's all right. I gotta just forget about it. Hello.
Good evening.
Mass, who's calling?
This is Jesse.
Okay, hold on. This is
Jesse.
Yes.
Jesse.
Jesse's girl. Okay, I apologize. That's another. I'm gonna get more calls, guys. I thought that was elected sheriff calling, so I did another call there. Father's providing.
Highway.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
This property, and he made the statement, his investigator, that they were forced. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call Dan Spencer now and let him know that, again, John Mogul came out to this property and he made the statement, his investigator, that they were forced to take this to trial. So that's a clear Sixth Amendment violation of right to fair trial, and then to call witness in his favor. And I have a list. So I'm going to try to leave some kind of message requesting that because he's not provided Elijah a fair trial, if they have to be, John Mogul said they are forcing us to take this to trial. So he's not getting the legal counsel. I'm going to make Dan Spencer, his attorney, who I have record that he tried to withdraw his attorney back in June, that the list of people that he has not called, they have a 2-day trial coming up on December 11th, 2 days. And I have a list, and I'll go over that when I call, whether they allow me to leave a message or not. I'll continue, and I'll probably send an email, but I'm going to advise Dan Spencer that he sent that gentleman to serve me summons for witness, but he said out here that they are forcing us to take this to trial, and that when I asked him about Elijah's 180 hours, which is the whole case, he said he didn't know anything. So he's clearly, his rights are being violated. So I want to make that call now, give him the list of all the people that have not been summoned. I believe all these, Elijah has the right, and then the hundreds of hours that I live stream trying to talk about these 180 hours, which they still don't want to talk about. That's the reason why I told Elijah, do not stop the car, because I'm not going to let them arrest him when he already did the 180 hours. We can prove that 100 ways. So here we go. Dan Spencer, I'm calling him now.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check.
I called his number through.
I called his number and it didn't go through, so I called back. I'm not sure what was up with that.
Welcome to.
Interesting. Why isn't his call going through? Dan Spencer, attorney, Lakeview, Oregon.
I go to his website page and then call from there.
Maybe I have the wrong one here. Let's see if this is it. Let's see, I have Spencer Law Office, Lakeview. Spencer Law. Okay. I don't know if there's an actual, if there's a telephone number here. 541. Let's do this here. We got the number right here on the 501 407 0190. One 441 407
puppies, huh?
541. Nope, I don't have that correct.
Have to do puppies.
541 407 0190. There we go. All right, calling now.
They hang up. They hang up on me. You heard it. Bloop. You know.
I picked up. Where's it at? Okay, I'm going to try that again. 541 407 0190. We'll try that again. I believe they were just hanging up.
Hanging up on
Okay,
me.
so they're refusing my calls, apparently. You hear that? The phone's just hanging up. So,
difficult as
okay,
the task.
I've made an attempt to try to get a hold of the law office of Dan Spencer to let him know, again, about John Mogul and his service, that he came here on the property. I have it recorded on the live stream that he came here, and the investigator for Dan Spencer, the attorney for my son, stated that they were forced to take this to trial. So I'm trying to get a hold of him to let him know of this violation of the Sixth Amendment, and then to give him the list. Apparently he will not. So I will email him about John Mogul, and then that he needs emailed he needs a summons to court as well, because that day he said they were being forced. So if they're going to take it to trial, now John Mogul has now become part of this case as well by delivering the summons, whether it was a valid summons because I told him to leave and he didn't leave. Well, again, it's a clear violation of my Fourth Amendment because he didn't leave after told if he had a warrant. It doesn't matter if he had a warrant. He was told to leave. He didn't, irregardless. That's beside. He should be summoned to court in Elijah's case to prove that he said that he could not. They were forced to take it to trial. That's a violation of the Sixth Amendment for fair trial. So not allowing, if they're only going to do 2-day trial, and I have a list of at least 30 people, and they're not allowing Elijah to call witness in his favor, there's another violation of his Sixth Amendment. So apparently Dan Spencer's office does not want to provide, again, counsel. I'm even a witness in this case, and so I don't know why they want to talk to me. I just removed the attorney of record, Phil Studenberg. He filed a request to be removed already. Hasn't been signed, but I know that I have the right as the defendant to remove my counsel, and so they cannot deny my request, and they'll have to, which again I think will hopefully slow this process down with Elijah and not let them prosecute, because they can't call me. Well, they can. I looked into it. They can call me. I don't have to have an attorney, but I'm not going to go in there and incriminate myself. And I will make it known that Elijah has not been allowed to look at his 180 hours. So I don't know what this Dan Spencer's thinking, but that's okay. All right. That's the documentation of me attempting to call Dan Spencer's office multiple times. They just keep dumping my call and will not even allow me to leave a voice message. So I can still contact me via email. I'll probably do that as well, putting him a list, letting him know of his negligence. I was hoping to tell him that I believe, for his favor, that he should tell Elijah, because he's already requested me removed and he can't get approved to only by, I guess just a personal request. He should tell Elijah. I mean, I can't have contact, so that'd be breaking, but he could advise Elijah that the best thing for the case would be for Elijah to tell Dan Spencer, I'm removing you as the attorney of record, so that this cannot go to trial yet. Then they'll have to look into and maybe call these witnesses. And so we'll see.
We got no way to do
here we go.
that.
One phone call at a time. All right. That's the documentation of Dan Spencer's office refusing to take my call. So I'll probably have to email them this information.
Okay, that was documentation of calling Dan Spencer. So this is a list that Elijah should be able to have with, first of all, he should be able to prove his innocence. His dad streamed for the whole reason that the car wasn't stopped, that I didn't let him stop, that he stayed here, that I took his body. They knew he was here, was because of this warrant, because he didn't complete his community service hours, which he did. Plus, I mean, he did probably 300 and he was only supposed to do 180. That is extortion. So call witness is to, in your favor, to help prove your innocence. He can prove, well, my dad told me not to stop the car, and I didn't, because I didn't let him stop the car. We were almost to the house. I'd already had him here for 14, 15 days. Like, I'm going to stop. Yeah, right. That's silly. He gets ass raped, and I have nothing changed to me. Not going to let him get taken and thrown in. I already called Gresham Brunsman, the head of probation, and said, do not issue a warrant for his arrest. You already threw him in jail illegally. I have all the proof. That's how he came, and it was the terms of his release to release from this county to yours. That's why if he needed to do more hours, you only said he did 47 at month 33. Why didn't it say at 6 months that Elijah has to start community service after leaving Lake County for 5 months, only did 47 hours? That's not possible. And so, Elijah, now you got to sign up, and you moved over here, even though that wasn't his terms for release, was just go over there with, he had to complete his community service hours to leave. So he did that. And at month 6, it didn't say Elijah as sign up for community service, go over there, report to Officer Black and Sheriff Dumar. You get that right? Yeah, Officer Black and Sheriff Dumar, or what, it don't matter, they're both sheriff's deputies, but and pay $100. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that at month 17. So this is criminal, and I will prevail here with, I'm sure Father will provide a way, not me, but he will provide a way. He always, if it's just at the last second, So I do think that this will get the attention now with my posting to the elected sheriff, who responded today that he's, with a saddened heart, I'm going to get out of here before I have to call Tracy. I'm like, no, the hell you're not. You're going to talk to me because you sat there and think you're going to squeak out of here, just like, we have a huge development in this case, lady in red. Elected sheriff Michael Taylor. Remember the one I'm going to get his bond? Oh man, you're causing yourself so many more problems. I'm so sorry. You seem to be unstable, and you're making yourself look like you do the risk of anyone around you. Please get some help. Oh my God, Meyer cares about me. You don't give a rat's ass. Go call Lake County and tell them that the judge is corrupt. The sheriff is corrupt. Get out of here. You don't know your backside from the hole ground in this case. You don't care about my stability or instability. You have nothing. You don't care about me at all. You want me to get on drugs. I know that's what you want. You want to tell me something's wrong with me and want me to get on drugs and go to a pharmaceutical, see a doctor. Get out of here. Your kind are so easy to see. Yes, you smell from a mile away like a pharmaceutical, side effects. The big snakes up the pole farm guy, please leave. You can't compete with your smell. It's the stench. It's like the script, Ugh. So, but anyways, goodbye. Like they care. So anyway, the elected sheriff comes out today and says, with a saddened heart, I am going to have to retire on January 25th, 2025. I'm like, you're not going to squeak out the back door like this chief of finance, Ted Martin. I'm going to make it public. So I recorded it, and I've done this already. If you want to go back in the live stream, I don't think I'll play it again. I'll read it to you. How about that? I'll read it to you. I don't know if I'll be able to read it to you or not. All right, let's do it again. Why not? For evidentiary purposes. Here we go.
Reported. I'm not going to tell who that is, but for the people who are supporting the sheriff. So I'd make documentation. Michael Taylor announces his retirement on January 25th. I respond to his response publicly. I've called your office for several years trying to have one conversation with you and had made dozens of requests to receive a call back from you directly. I've even called you and invited you to my property to discuss the corruption in your Lake County Sheriff's Office and the Probation and Parole Office. I've reported to you that your parole department was not keeping track of a rapist that was released into our county and paid on a contract, and had showed your department the evidence that he admitted to being at the scene of a theft crime that involved 4 other teenagers. 100% evidence he was involved in a theft crime and was at the scene. You convicted only 1 of 4 of the teenagers involved. I'm going to have to make an edit right there. 2 involves. Edit 2 involves.
I got a sent and a took. 2 involves, a sent and a took.
Okay, well, let me see. You convict only 1 of the 4 teenagers involved.
You're going to love this, lady in red, what he says, his response. Because he responds back to me. Put your guess on what you think that he might say. I've been in already. What his response
One of the teenagers involved.
Put it in the comments section.
Took him to jail, but not the other teenagers. All the teenagers received conviction, but not the rapist. Why? You failed to protect the county from a rapist that you were getting paid to have in the county. Is this why you never convicted him and victim? Because you would lose your funding of him if convicted? Again, I reported corruption within the Lake County Sheriff's Office and have documented evidence that you refuse to ever even make one call to me to address my safety concerns and your dereliction of duty as the elected sheriff in North Lake County. You failed this community. You put the community's safety in jeopardy. Evidence will show you made zero attempts to ever call my phone or meet and even have one conversation about the documented evidence I have concerning the community's safety and the corruption within your parole, probation, and North Lake County Department. Again, you failed this community and put the community's safety in jeopardy by your dereliction of duty. I'm not afraid to point out the corruption because I have evidence. There are many in this community who are afraid to speak up. I will be the voice for those who fear legal repercussion and targeting from the sheriff's office. I repeat, I've called for many years without ever receiving one call from you. You are a failure, and I have all the evidence to convict you. You never have made even one call or tried to meet me at the Silver Lake location when you offered to try to deal the Silver Lake location when offered to try to deal with this as professional courtesy. Elected Sheriff Michael Taylor, what about the 180 hours? Give me a call. His response is Michael Taylor response, Tracy Werner, that's why you don't receive calls backs. That's why you don't receive callbacks. You're an absolute nutcase. So he's got 4 people supporting his.
That's his response.
Thinks it's funny.
You don't get callbacks because you're an absolute nutcase. Probably not a wise thing to say from an elected sheriff. As I said before, probably been better not to say anything at all. Might have been better to just not respond. And he brought it very quickly. The very first thing he did is put a laughing sign. Laughing sign. Ha, he laughed at my response, and then he responded, you don't get callbacks because you're an absolute nutcase. Oh, I know. Now this has to go to appellate court. This has to go to appellate court. It cannot stay in this county any longer. They can't convict Elijah. If they try to put a case against Elijah, it's going to be a mistrial. It's going to be a mistrial because there's too much proof that there's obviously some corruption going on. They're going to have an outside. There's no way. If they did, I'm not even, I'm starting to every day. Father's providing. There's more people. After I put this on Lady in Red, I had 2 people immediately contact me. Somebody from, the paper said there's already a deal on corruption that's been done by the Oregon Tribune, I believe it was, or one of these other papers. It says about the police corruption, and gave me the contact and said, call these people, totally aware of this. And then had another victim come in and says, I have 4 separate cases, one of involving me and 3 other people, and it's involving all the sheriffs out here, the same list of characters, same cast of characters. So very risky, brothers and sisters. No, I probably just made things very hard on myself. At any time they could come out here and do this again. I remember Lady in Red, I already had a call to Lake County Sheriff's documenting that I had somebody calling saying they were Lake County Sheriff's Office. SWAT, and they were going to come SWAT this house. They were going to get a community together to say I was crazy and come SWAT this house. And now I just had the elected sheriff call me an absolute nutcase. Think they'll try to come in here and remove me some other way? They get enough reports that I'm a nutcase. Remember, they can do that. Try to put you on the script. Remember, like that person just came in there. Oh, I feel so bad for you. Your dad, blah, blah. I care. Get on the farm guy. That's what they want to do. Go see the big farm guy. Get your script. Go get your script. Your snake's up a pole, So it is what it is. Again, I'm a bit concerned about my own.
You need to exit my property and go to the edge of my property.
Told him to leave. He keeps coming.
Stop walking towards me.
Stop walking towards me. He keeps coming. Look at his hands.
Stop.
What is he doing?
You've entered my property illegally.
See that?
You've entered my property illegally.
I already told him to leave. He won't leave.
Guys, I'm going to give you one chance. You were in that court. Look, you need to stop talking for your safety. I'm live streaming live. Please stop talking. Please assert.
I work for your son's attorney.
I don't know. You work for nobody. I know who you. I'm asking you to stop talking.
Okay, I tell you, I have a criminal subpoena for you, and you've been served for your son's defense. On December 11th is the trial, because they're forcing us to go to trial.
Forcing us to go to trial.
I've asked this gentleman to leave my property. I'm going to ask you. You were there when Judge Vandenberg said he would drop this case, correct?
I had not heard that.
You were in the courtroom. No. I've asked you to leave my property. Do not. Look at this. Illegally, I asked him to leave my property.
Already asked him for
Illegally,
the
sir.
That's a
You're
Fourth
here illegal.
Amendment
This is the
violation.
investigator. How is Dan Spencer my son's attorney when I have paperwork inside that says he's not? You are the investigator. Answer that right now. Answer that right now. Then you tell me how is my son 180 hours?
I have no clue.
You don't know about my son's 180. How did you drive on this property without a warrant?
Your gate's open.
That's illegal, and I told you to leave, and you didn't. So that's not legal. You were told to leave.
It's not a legal service.
You were told to leave. You entered my property illegal. State who you are again for the record. State who you are for the record.
Goodbye, Mr. Werner.
See, he won't let me know. I mean, he never mentioned his name. He never identified by name. And when you're told to leave somebody's property, I told him immediately, do you have a warrant? Leave. Go to the edge of my property.
Look at this. This is how they act.
That was
Just
John
do whatever they
Vogel,
want. This man needs to be criminal.
state investigator, and I'm documenting this because this is clearly a Sixth Amendment violation. They are forcing us to take this to trial. Does not. No, I didn't know. It looked like a plane. So I didn't know if it was a cop at first. That's why I looked like a plain clothes. I didn't know. I said, do you have a warrant? He said, no. I said, you heard me say, exit the property right now. Leave. Go to the edge of the property. Go. And he didn't care. That is a violation of your Fourth Amendment right. You have the right to be secure in your houses, papers, persons, and effects. When somebody tells you on private property, you can enter their property. That's not illegal. Even if it's posted, you have to let them know to leave. Okay. Rob, that's fine, a refusal of service. It's still a Fourth Amendment violation. When I told him to leave this property, he needed to turn around and try his attempt of service somewhere else another time. This is private property. He cannot enter my property. After I've told him to leave, he has to turn around. That's not a valid service. They can say it is. I don't care if they do. That's irregardless. It's still a violation of my Fourth Amendment, which is criminal trespassing. That's why I've called 911, and I'm trying to go after him for criminal trespassing. He should have just turned around and left. He should have turned around and left. If you're a server, you know damn good and well you better agree or get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to sit there and let somebody violate my Fourth Amendment. I have the right. They've already been taunting me, swatting my house, leaving deposits. I called 911. I don't ever call 911. That was a criminal trespassing. Clearly criminal trespassing. When you enter private property and it was marked, he entered through a gate, that's fine. I told him, do you have a warrant? He didn't leave. That is called criminal trespassing. I could have shot that man dead right there. Would have never served a day in jail. So service would have been whatever, and probably wouldn't even be dealing with this case because that's my Fourth Amendment right. I have the right to be secure in my house, papers, persons, effect, and there are titles that say that if I deem him an intruder, I have the right to deem the force necessary to eliminate that threat. And he is obviously a threat. I did not know he might have left some on my property. So I agree with you. You should have wrote a report, and then depending on the state statute, they can move to have it accepted as good service or required to more direct attempts. Then trouble was on. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It was so irregardless. I hear you, Rob, but don't say that that was not a Fourth Amendment violation and a criminal trespass. That is a pure example of what it's like to be criminally trespassing. So You don't enter somebody's private property. That's not illegal to enter on a private property, even if it's marked. Somebody could be rat shooting in out here. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That was his bad. It was his bad. And it's okay because I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't do anything to him. And, you know, and he convicted himself because he said, they're forcing us to take this to trial. So he's an idiot. He should have turned around. He gave evidence and should have left. See what he did? What an idiot. And then he said, I don't know anything about the 180 hours. You can enter, you just can't say once asked to leave. Okay, why I kept telling him, stop, turn around. If you watch the live stream, continuing. And he just kept coming. He would not stop. So that's called legal criminal. I could have shot him dead right there because I deemed him, and I still don't know what the fuck he left on this property. I haven't let my animals go over there because I haven't had a chance. Jaden, you're an idiot. Get out of here. Idolism and imagery is what Father warns about, your eyes and what you see. You're too worried about he said, let no man steal your crown, and your eyes are taking it from you. So that's your biggest enemy. What do we got here?
And try again. They apparently do not arrest whoever they don't.
Yeah, I have so much documentation here. I love it. Oh, we're gonna get a copyright strike now.
Calling to get a status update on my case here. They don't want. I have actual criminal trespass. I have it on video. I've got no update, so I'm calling to get an update. This guy could still be coming out. No update from anybody. Nothing.
to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Friday. For questions related to civil matters or concealed handgun licensing, press 1. For warrant confirmation or to speak to a corrections officer or jail personnel, press 2. For the sheriff's assistant, press 3. For questions related to jury duty, traffic citations, and court information, press 9.
Please hold on while I try that extension.
Oh wait, no, I want to go to the one where I'm reporting to Sam Birch. Oh, that's all right. I already got it documented. So, but anyways, more documentation of the elected sheriff not having any conversation with me, tells me I'm an absolute nutcase, doesn't want to address any of the corruption within his police department, never called me. Probably not a wise move to be an elected sheriff over a whole police department. And if I am some nutcase, call you out on a public forum for you to sit there and call me a nutcase. I think the better decision for him, just like the guy, John Mogul, who can be criminally trespassed on my property now, and I'm pursuing the charges, he should have turned around. He left information, that he could have just walked away and left and come back at a different time. Try to catch me again. That's part of, if Rob does service, and I know I have done service with my cousin and my brother and my uncle, I've served papers. I know how that works. You got to sneak up on them, guys, kind of, sort of speak. You got to get, there's a knack to it, and he probably shouldn't have answered. Probably shouldn't have answered me when I asked if he had a warrant. He shouldn't have said no. He should have just kept trying to approach me and get as close as he could and dump it at my feet. I mean, it's not hard to, when somebody doesn't know it's coming, so to speak, but I'm on alert out here. So that was his mistake. Normally you could walk up to a lot of people, and if you're good about doing it, I'm not saying like a lot of the times, most people who get caught for crime is because they hesitate, they hesitate. So, that's right. There you go. So Rob will probably testify. He's done paper. It's not everyone is easy. It's not like it's easy. You have to make a planning to make a good approach. Maybe there's a little distraction or something. You wait for the right time, and so it's not easy to just do it. So it's not like, just walk up to somebody. There's some thought that goes into the process of your safety too. You have to remember, a lot of people, I could have pulled out a gun and shot that man dead right there. I don't give a fuck if he was coming for service or not. That doesn't give him the right to continue on my property when told to turn around and leave. I don't care who he is. Inspection officer, Department of Justice, the feds, the elected tyrant Michael Taylor, the sheriff. Nobody can enter this property without warrant. And if they do, and I tell them to leave, they have to turn around and leave. So nobody actually even has the right to enter your private property without warrant if they're going to potentially cause any kind of harm or damage. I have titles that say you can't enter somebody's property under the Fourth Amendment. It's not illegal to accidentally wander onto their property on accident, but you're not to enter people's property without warrant. You don't go on people's private property. That's stupid. You can get yourself shot. And then if they tell you to leave and you don't turn around, that's a good way to get shot. I know most people in this county would have shot him because they know that the sheriffs don't do shit out here and buried that man out here. Yeah, they would. Absolutely, they would. They don't care. There's people who live in this town that do not give a shit. They don't. Just that go around and find out kind of town. That ain't even a town. That town wishes it could be that song. This is a township. We ain't even a town. So that's why the law out here is the way they are too. Because this town ain't some easy little one-lane town like you think. This town has got some issues. People want to be left alone. Don't bother me. Don't come on my property. I will shoot you. That is what most people will say. You go in here, you want to look through the community page. When people talk about seeing people out here, they start talking about digging holes. Go look through the community page. Go look through the community page. Not me saying it's them. Somebody sneaking around out here, you're going to get 10 comments. Dig some holes. I dig a hole. So, also, if you declare any live stream for an officer of the law, any department to identify themselves, and they take the video and they enter themselves. That's evidence. Okay, yeah. Under normally cannot use used. That's normally department policy, and they have to identify themselves because you can enter private property for a reasonable service attempt. Like even if there's a private property signs, and you have the right to approach the front door to make contact. Right. You have the right to approach the door. But if told to leave, you have to leave. I don't give a fuck if you're warrant searching, if you're serving summons, warrant, what you're serving, paper service. The only way would be come in with a warrant that you can continue and not turn around if told to leave. There's no other way. Even a paper server, somebody's doing service, cannot continue on somebody's property if they're told to leave. That's a violation of your Fourth Amendment. That is called criminal trespassing. So there are rights that people like Rob is explaining to you because it's not an easy job. People think, it's hard to serve papers, man. That's so easy. I can just go deliver a bunch of papers. Yeah, right. You have no idea what it takes to, like I said, the timing is everything. You know what I'm saying? So, not an easy job. It was his mistake. He should have just left and turned around. There could be a dead man on this property and I would not be in jail right now. I would not do a day in jail. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, I'm saying it's Rob. There's a little bit because I did it. I remember with their brothers, there's a bit of a rush. Like when you going up to that football player or somebody, people, you guys, when you're serving papers out here, obviously Rob would probably, if he served paper, go out in a country town like this, there's a bit of a rush. People will shoot you. You understand? You've got to be smart about what you do. You can't just go walking on people's property and think that they're just going to be nice. They're not. Not out here where I live. They will not. So, like I said, this is a community where people want to be left alone. The problem is with this community is there is no community. No, there's no community. There's no unity. Everybody just wants to be left alone out here. Not a good thing for when things can break down. Large numbers easily take out small numbers. Yeah, cool. That's what I'm saying. It's not an easy job. I've served papers, and my uncle did it for a long time. My cousin made a decent, fair living, and he has a pretty high expense, not like, somewhere medium, upper medium class. And he made his living, supported his living, upper medium, class, serving. He did, but like you, he obviously knew what he was doing and took the time to make sure he was protecting himself and never would just not serve the paper if you think that something's going to come out. Something's going to come up. You just trust your gut. I know you know what I'm talking about because if you served paper before. Yeah, there we go. Just what I'm saying. You got to take precautions. So thanks, Rob, for your testimony. I had no intentions of hurting that guy at all. You can hear me. I'm not trying to hurt him. I'm telling him to try to be quiet. I tried to tell him to shut up. Didn't you see that? And he didn't shut up, and then he ended up incriminating himself. There you go. Look at that. Did I not try to tell that guy to stop talking? I said, for your safety, stop talking. And then he continued to talk and said, well, they're forcing us to take it to trial. Clear Sixth Amendment violation of my son's of his criminal trial, right to fair trial. That's it. That's it. The case is done right there. That if they try this case, and I have made that statement known to these courts, which I have reported that this John Mogul has came to my property, criminally trespassed, and with whether the service is valid or not. That's fine. If he wants a valid service, I don't think it is, but if it is, it is. Okay. Yeah, no, they're coming after me, Jamie. I'm and it's okay. I'm a teacher. I'm a father. Says, worry about no man who can take your flesh. Only worry who can take your flesh and your soul. So I know where my battle is. I'm not a violent man, although I am a trained killer, military, police, blah, 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 whatever. I'm not violent. I'm a pacifist, man. I try to avoid. That's why I live out here in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to deal with people. I ain't going to be fighting people for toilet paper. I got my own toilet paper. Got my own water. Got my own food. I don't need. I'm self-reliant. I live by the sun. I pay as few taxes I could possibly pay. I make all my own power. Self-sufficient. So try to avoid dealing with anybody if I can. Not like I'm saying like that. I mean, stupid people play stupid games, get stupid prizes. So no, thank you. I'd rather not. I'd rather just have enough TV for my bunghole and not be down fighting people at the last moment for toilet paper. So better to have and not need than need not have. So what do you do, big? I got to feed my puppies, guys. Look at this big guy sitting next to the dad. You don't even know he's here with his dad. He's right here on the dad. I love my boys. I love my guys. What a good boy him is. And look at my kitten boy over here. I love my boy. And Mr. Pants down there on the ground. Mr. Pants, you want to come over here and say hi, Mr. Pants? Say hi, Mr. Pants. There, and guy. Oh, big stretch. Big stretch. Him was a dad too, huh? Yes, I do. I love my dad. Yeah, safety reasons my ass, Rob. I didn't shoot anybody. I already could have shot 2 fucking state troopers out here dead for entering my property after intimidating me and intimidating my daughter. And they eventually came and shot the place up. So I wasn't wrong. And I guarantee they'd have never swatted this house if I'd have shot those 2 fucking police officers dead. Because they were intimidating me for weeks. I told them to stop, call me, somebody, please, even when they drove on my property, which they shouldn't have came on to my property without warrant. Because you can't enter somebody's property warrant. You need to look at it. I know you serve papers, but there is a 4th Amendment that does not allow you to enter anybody's property without a warrant. I know, I have the titles. I can bring it up for you. You can't enter people's private property without warrant. If you do accidentally wander on their property, there are provisions like, service of papers and things like that. But again, you need a warrant to enter somebody's property, brothers and sisters. Private property, you need a warrant. You can't. I don't give a shit what you say. I've done it on this channel. I've showed you the titles under the Fourth Amendment. You have the right to be secure in your house, papers, and effects. People can't just come onto your property. Don't ever let anybody tell you that. That's bullshit. No way in hell. You have to have warrant to enter on private property. So you don't be going on people's private property, brothers and sisters. You will get shot. If you don't turn around and leave, you will be dead. And not even the code ordinance officer, not even in this Rob with the, inspection officer. Now he's coming for service. So that's, but there's some amendment to that. But if told without a warrant, that's why I asked, I would ask Rob the same thing. If he came to my property, Rob, do you have, do you have a warrant? No, get out of here. Let's leave. So under the Fourth Amendment, you cannot enter somebody's property without warrant, period. I don't care. I know in my Fourth Amendment, you try to trample on my Fourth Amendment, like I said, come out here and you'll find out people shoot you every time. So prediction the judge for me, but there'll be no violence. There's no violence. You just be filing a fake thing like they file their fake charges that I'm some kind of, I'll fight to the death. You're taking my words and you're making word salad with it. I never said violence. Never. That's talking about my voice. When backed in a corner, I'll strike. I lied. I didn't strike. How many times? I'm a liar, aren't I? You lied, Tracy. You said if backed into a corner, you'd strike, and you didn't. I said meek, not weak. So, that's weird. So, okay, I'm thinking here, going to... Didn't you ask them to contact you or come see you before you were arrested so you could talk? Yeah. For 200 and some hours, remember? Remember how many hours we streamed? Lady in red? How many hours did we stream? We streamed for 17 days straight. 13 to 15, 16 hours a day. Continuous streams to try to get the state of Oregon to stop driving around in the hills. State of Oregon's got some of the best SWAT teams. They got one of the best SWAT teams in the nation. So I just want to make sure people very clear, okay? Don't violate somebody's Fourth Amendment right. I don't care if you come without warrant, you will get shot out in this town. So I'm never called for violence. No, you weren't baptized, ZX. There's no such thing as water baptism. Let me give you the definition of baptism. It's called bapto or baptizo. It means to be covered with the red pitch. Noah baptized the ark inside and out with the red pitch, stain, or dye. And you have to be completely overcome to be baptized, or blood. And that's not a water, that's a perverted form of the halakha, which is not a true baptism. A baptism is a complete overcoming, and you cannot be baptized in water because there's nothing in the definition that says water baptism. That's a perversion if you'll study. But John baptized Jesus in the River Jordan, and Jesus, that's, you don't know what the halakha is. There it is. Boom, right on time. Thank you, Father. They don't know nothing. They study nothing. They don't know the halakha. They don't study the word baptism to be completely overcome. So, ZX, it's not a problem. I got water dipped when I was my 30s or so. Dipped my son. That's stupid. There's no such thing as water dipping. You have to be completely overcome. Let me give you a real quick understanding. You see this cucumber? This is what you did. You were a cucumber, and you got dipped in the brine. Are you a pickle? ZX, are you a pickle? I'll help you here. And this make you understand. Nobody teaches this to you. I will. Hallelujah. Thank you for the question. Thank you, Father, for giving this. I gave you definition. I didn't give you. I said baptizo is to be covered with a red pitch, blood, stain, or dye. By definition, there's no water in the definition, does not ever call for water. You have to be completely overcome. The only way I can baptize you in water would be to hold you down until you were not breathing anymore. That would be a baptism because you would be completely overcome. So if you're a cucumber, and that's what you did today, is you were a cucumber, and I dipped you down into the brine, do you become a pickle? Okay, cool. So, okay, you're going to call me a nut, and so do the elected sheriff out here. So go ahead, Jim. Go ahead and keep dipping yourself. ZX is listening. So ZX, Jim thinks I'm a nut, but you hear me. Remember, he does not remove the scales from those eyes who he chooses not to give a hearing ear, and Paul's on deaf ear. So obviously, Jim is just blinded by the light. So you can leave now, Jim. Okay, so ZX, as a cucumber, I dip you in the brine and I pull you out. See, you can say, well, I like getting baptism, right, ZX? You know what I'm saying? And I say, well, all right, well, I'll tell you what, ZX, you and I will go get water dipped every day because we just love baptism. I mean, we just think it's the coolest thing, and I want to just be so clean and ready to go. And if you get dipped as a cucumber every day, does it ever turn into a pickle? Does it ever turn into a pickle? All right, I go do that. Lady in red, can you tell me, because you said sweet or deal, how long it takes to make a pickle, whether sweet or brine, because you put it in a brine? Okay, I want you to listen. I want you to focus on what I'm saying right now, ZX, okay? If you're a cucumber, and I say, all right, ZX, I'll go with you every day because I like getting baptized too. 28 days soaked in right. Okay, so thank you. So what I want you to do is imagine you and I, ZX, we're going to go every day because we just love water baptism, right? Remember John baptized, Jesus in the River Jordan, and Jesus baptized John. That's, you don't have it. We want to talk, don't confuse you. That was the halakha. There was a perversion of the law. Okay, so if you're a cucumber and I dip you down every day and we go, because we're both cucumbers, right? We're both cucumbers, ZX. I'll be with you. We're both cucumbers and we like baptism, right? We think baptism is by water when it's not by definition by water. That's a perversion of the halakha, and that's why Christ baptized John in the River Jordan, had John baptize him, so he would go, they would listen to him. He did the formalities that they had to let him into. See, he wasn't Jesus of Nazareth, was he? He was Jesus of Bethlehem, wasn't he? So, okay, we're cucumbers, and we like to get water dipped. So we're going to go get what we call baptized in water every day. And we go 365 days a week. ZX, are we going to be turned into pickles? We could go get dipped every day. Dip, 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 dip. And we're not going to see, baptism is the word baptizo or bapto, and it means that to be completely overcome, not to be dipped, but to be completely overcome. So as a cucumber is put into a vat of brine and pushed down and hold down, you have to be held down. Like I said, it would be a drowning to be baptized. You have to be completely overcome. Now, you'd be overcome, wouldn't you, if I hold you down and you weren't breathing? Now you've been baptized in water, but not by water. That is a baptism because you've been completely overcome. So if you hold that pickle down, right, now I'm holding that pickle down. It's a process. So ZX, a baptism might take you 10 years. Seriously, it could take you a year. It could take you a couple. You started your process, though. Obviously, you understand. I don't know if you studied it and understand, again, you probably didn't and don't know, but I'll help you with baptism. It's a process because you have to be completely overcome. Like being held in the brine, we can go dipped in water dip every day. That don't make us a pickle. So, look at Rob. Oh, thank you. So good answer, Rob. So good analogy there. So, but if you held that pickle down, cucumber down, it's going to start to overcome. It's going to take a couple weeks probably before it starts penetrating with that brine, the actual outer husk or the skin of the right cucumber. And then about the time, if you think about that, probably within about 2-3 weeks, and it starts to penetrate. It overtakes that inner portion of that cucumber, right? So ZX, now that's you. You've been down in the brine a long time, right? You're down there, and so you've been complete over. So listen, ZX, I'm having problems with my eyes. ZX, listen. Remember, he said you must be completely overcome, right? ZX, listen. I know it's scary, but you're a pickle now, okay? ZX, there's no going back to being a cucumber. Do you understand? If you like to talk to tomatoes. Oh, no, my brain. I did Veggie Tales. Whatever. That was funny. Whatever. Pastor got a little fun in every once in a while, guys. I'm facing they could get swatted tonight, guys. There you go, ZX. So it's a process. Enjoy your first dipping. Stay in the brine. Stay in the brine. Stay in the brine. No, you were a cucumber. Now you're a pickle. You were a cucumber. Now you're a pickle. So we're standing over here and you're like freaked out because you're like used to being a cucumber. And I'm like, hey, listen here, pickle. There's no going back to being a cucumber. You're with us pickles now. You understand? It's a process, okay? It takes time. So just let him beat it takes time. You're on the process because you understand I need to cleanse myself. I need a cleansing. I want to feel anew again. And so you can do that. He says, be born from above daily. Let me teach you how to do this. It's who shall ever come after me? Because it's the brine. It's the brine that gets us. It's the tribulation. It's the suffering. That's what baptizes us. He says, now listen, I want to find your garments white, without blemish. He says, washed clean in the blood of the Lamb when I return. See what that is? By blood. Spiritual blood over a process. That way you'll be clean without blemish, washed. So. Yeah. So be born from above daily. Okay. Be born from above daily. Not again. It says be born from above. We need to act as if the flesh isn't our worry. We don't worry. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, Paul said, because he fulfilled the covenant of flesh. Blood is the baptism. We push this and we allow this process like repentance. Forgiveness does not come. Forgiveness is the same thing as baptism. It's a process. In order to be forgiven, Father has to rebuke your heart. He said, if I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would. So if there's something you have done that is displeasing the Father, you'll know. It would be like a thorn in the side that is nagging you. That's Father. Shiloh. That's Christ. He's not in the sky, he's inside of you. Right? That is how he rebukes our heart. He calls out to make us not, we don't feel, we know it's not righteous. We know what we did is not. He said, cast off the works of darkness, put on the whole armor of God. Okay, so we cover ourselves with the blood of the Lamb, with the word, with the daily bread, by be born from above. Sup through tribulation, through the word. And we suffer because of that too. A lot of people don't like that we do this every single day. They're like, dude, what's wrong with you, man? Like, get a church, dude. It's not Sunday, No, I do this every day. I do it every single day. I've been doing it for 20 plus years, 30, I can't come off this. So, I hate your stinking guts. You make me vomit. Your scum between my toes. Alfalfa. Is that like alfalfa from the Little Rascals? So, anyways, so God rebukes our heart. That's the first priority of forgiveness. So forgiveness doesn't start with just forgiveness. Forgiveness starts with being rebuked. God says, this isn't pleasing to me. Nice. Okay, so Yeah, well, there's a good process, like that's not a baptism, but it's a good start, ZX. It's a good start to kind of cleansing. You've given yourself, you need to, God is calling out saying, I need a new, you know what I mean? Nice. With my son last week. Just watched it again with my son last week. Your pickle analogy brought it up. And nice. Thank you, Rob. So, ZX, just like baptism, forgiveness is a process. God calls out to our hearts and rebukes our heart. We know what is doing is displeasing Father. We're not doing it. We did something. We should be doing something that we're not, and we start because it bothers us. That's him. That's how we become righteous, So then we walk in what is called repentance. And just like baptism, it is a process. In order to be forgiven, we cannot go back to do the things that we once were. You can't be forgiven. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're just the same person that you were. You never made you didn't overcome the process. So forgiveness is just like baptism, and it's just like salvation, because he said you must endure to the end to be saved. Sozo, the Greek word is S-O-Z-O, sozo, and that means to be lifted, picked up, and carried to a beginning or to an ending point, healed. And that is the word salvation, or sozo. So it is a process. He said you must endure to the end to be saved. And he's the one who lifts us, keeps us in the Most High without flesh, be born from above daily. Who shall ever come after me? Let them deny themselves daily. This is Matthew. Who shall ever be my disciple? Luke. Take up your cross, deny yourself daily, and follow after me. So, baptism and repentance are a process. So, the word sozo is the Greek word to be saved. Christ himself tells us there's no such thing as being saved. That is not a thing. That's not at all. He said, I chose my bride. Romans 8:29. He said, I also did foreknow. That is the Greek word prognosko. Prognosko means to have foreknowledge of. He said, I had foreknowledge of the ones that I chose already from the foundation, the predestined, the ones I predestined for light, the ones I prohorizo. He said, I also did foreknow who I did predestine to conform to my image. You got to do what Christ did, and it was a process. So baptism is a process, repentance is a process, and salvation is a process. There's no such thing as being saved, because you were already bought, and he said himself, you have to endure to the end to be sozo, saved. So there's no such thing as being saved. Once saved, always saved. Bull snot. You can get your name blotted out of that book. You can already be bought. That's predestination. Prohorizo. Prohorizo means to be divided. He divided us from his light. He is pure light. He cannot be defiled. We come from this dark meat suit, flesh, and we have this nature to carnal, to sin, born of this corrupt dust, and he pulls us from the darkness. He imprisons us. Prohorizo is to be pre-selected or imprisoned or divided from the light. Dark from the light. So he divided the day from the night, the dark from the light. Prohorizo means I pulled them from their darkness into my horizo, into my light. I pulled them from darkness to light. Their sin of skin, of flesh, of the things into my horizo, and the light cannot be defiled. Father is I am. He exists without flesh. He's never had flesh. And that's why he sent his son to fulfill the flesh, right? That's why he said before Abraham was, I am. And that how Abraham, he was not old enough, that's not possible. That's what he said. Before Abraham was, I am. That is Father without flesh. That's why he sent his son to fulfill the covenant of flesh, not just the Jews, Aaron and Levite, but the Jews and the Gentiles under this covenant. All flesh. would be saved. Sozo. But only those that would endure to the end would be saved. Only those who deny self daily. The disciples of Christ would take up their cross daily. As he said in Matthew, I also did foreknow who I did predestine to conform to my image. He said, deny yourself daily, take up your cross daily, and follow after me. It's the same thing as conform to my image. Does that make sense? So, 2 masters gave me an exorcism 6 days ago. They gave me a baptism. Lived with me for over 10 years. That's all bullshit. I don't mean to cuss at you, but none of that's true. Everything you just said is blasphemy. None of that's true. None of that. That's all a bunch of nonsense. Now, silly. That's just a bunch of hocus pocus. None of that is true. Nothing you just said. There's no such thing as exorcism. There's no baptism. And demonic is the word daemonion, and that's a distributor of fortunes or lies. So that's all blasphemy. You spoke no truth. None. So hopefully you'll take those gems, and I just didn't cast my pearls for swine. Obviously you've been under great delusion. What? 3 days ago, it came after me. One last time ago in the world, it was not happy. And then let it go. There's nothing coming after you, man. You need to stop. You're making up what's called the placebo effect. You're believing your own bullshit. You're manifesting something that nobody else can see, but you can, because you're believing your own lies. He said, do you want to believe a lie? He'll send you a lifetime of deception so you can keep believing your own lies, if you would like. Father, placebo effect. You can speak into a glass, you horrible, dirty, good girl, you nasty, you know, and it's gonna, that your plant's gonna die. You know what the placebo effect is? You're believing your own nonsense. All right, you're just you're all right. Bye-bye, ZX. You are out of control. So, all right, I got to feed my mules, guys. I got to feed my mules. My puppins. Look at this kitten laying on a boy. I love my kids. I love my kids. My good kids. Oh, you just walked on the kitten. Get off that kitten. Get off that kitten. Silly to see that puppy just get up there. All right, I got to feed my animals. Come here, girl. Come here, my little pea. Come here, my little sweet pea. She's just over here by her dad, too. Come here, little girl. Come say hi. Everybody got to see Juniper. She's been a little baby. We've had her on the channel. She kind of like the little Juniper girl channel kitty, huh? She's a good girl. She's such a pretty girl. She's such a nice sweetheart. You're so sweet. Dad loves this one. She's our only girl. She's the only girl that we have, so we treat her like the princess. We got rid of the little girls. She had 4 little girls, but they found awesome homes. And they had split face like her, but not as much. All right. I love this girl. She's my girl. She loves her dad. Can you tell? She's a dad's girl. She's a dad's girl. Are you dad's girl? Are you dad's girl? I love you. I do love you. You're my girl. See? She loves the dad. He was a dad, too. All right, he's on Dad's lap. I got to get up. We're just surrounded by puppies. So, are you guys hungry? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, guys. Time for dinner, huh? Old kids, you guys are the best boys and girl I ever did have. Thank you, guys. He's ready. Look at him. Oh, he's already up on his toes. He's ready to go. Oh, my goodness. Bevis. No, it's dinner time. The lamb and rice. You get the lamb and rice and the blueberries. The quail and the chick root and the kid. You guys eat better than I do. Would you come over to say hi? All right, we're gonna get the kitchen's fed and the puppet's fed. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Want some kitten gravy? Make some kitten gravy for the kittens. Some kitten gravy. Oh, there we go, kids. All right, biggest doggy. First, puppy gravy. Some puppy gravy. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Are you all done already? Good job, guys. Just put that down, huh? Give you a bunch too. It's a hungry boy. I'm a hungry kid. Just called the elected sheriff out in the dirtiest county in the state of Oregon, where they're known for being corrupt and heavy-handed, and the cops will shoot you and do shit to you out here. They don't care. Corrupt cops in Lake County, Oregon. Ask Tiffany Morehouse. Maybe ask Sam Birch. What about that? What's going on with that? Corrupt cops in Lake County, Oregon. Veteran calls him out. Gets his house swatted. Veteran has house swatted by state of Oregon for calling out corruption. That's pretty sad, man. I stand up. I stand up for this community. I stand up for this country. I serve this country. This is the way I get treated, guys. I get my house swatted. I get called a nutcase. You're an absolute nutcase by the elected sheriff. The elected sheriff says I'm a nutcase. Doesn't address any of my concerns. I find that rather ironic. Makes no... Get out of there. All right. Isn't that great? No, I moderated yes. They're lost, talking about demons and heaven, and they're lost. They start talking about a bunch of weird stuff. So there you go. The story about a United States Army veteran, honorably discharged veteran, moves out to top of the Great Basin, some town known for corruption. Look it up. This town is known for corruption. So, all right, guys. I got a call coming in. I'm going to take this call. I'm going to get off here a minute. I'm going to come back on because I'm very concerned about my safety, guys. This town is known for being back-to-back calls. I never got 2 calls. I've never gotten, I bet you I got 2 calls back-to-back in 10 years. I just got 2 calls in a row. Wow. So, I'm going to get off here so I can stop this stream. I'll come back on, guys, in a minute here. But I got to make these phone calls, so I don't know how long I'll be. I don't want to leave you guys sitting here on a blank screen. If you want to leave a Cash App donation or PayPal, it's not required. It's always there. Thanks for your support, guys. My life is in danger out here. I am not being sensational. I've already been swatted. I'm very concerned. I just called the elected sheriff out, Michael Taylor, and he said I was an absolute nutcase. So that's concerning. So that was not a smart thing, I think, on his part. Irregardless, it is what it is. Like John Mogul should have shut up and turned around. I think Michael Taylor just should have not even commented on the post. Should have just left his comment to himself. He laughed. He laughed at me saying there's corruption in this town. That is sickening. An elected sheriff has a community member call out saying, hey, I'm concerned for safety, and he thinks it's funny. This is the elected sheriff in Lake County, guys. Maybe that's why we're losing our dispatch here at 911. That's how corrupt this county is, guys. Lake County, Oregon will be losing their 911 dispatch in weeks because of this corruption out here. That's pretty fucked up, man. This county's probably poured more money in the last couple of years because of all the new growth use permits, conditional use permits, and new houses and more growth in this town in the last few years than in the last 50 years. And we're losing our 911 dispatch. Michael Taylor, you're a failure. You were the sheriff during this time. So even if, maybe every single thing that I didn't get was exactly right, but I bet you about 99% I'm saying is. You know what I'm saying? So what a crazy day this is. I never would have thought that the Michael Taylor would retire because I thought I was going to sue his bond, but I guess he's going to get out of there before I can get his bond. So here we go. Another weasel getting out of the back door. It's Chief of Finance, Ted Martin Weasel, who's weaseling and getting out the back door in January. He won't be there, for my trial date, which I'm not having no trial. There'll be no trial. I won't have no trial. He ain't going to take me to trial. Good luck. I'm going to get my bond back. Watch, I'm going to file for my bond. I'm going to file a subjugation. I'm going to get my bond. I'm going to file a power of attorney. I'm going to take over my bond and challenge jurisdiction, and they're operating in administrative capacity. So, woohoo! I already know. I'm going to take the bond. Then they have to take it from me, and they can't because they cannot prove they're operating in judicial capacity. Judge Vandenberg is not a judge. He's not acting in a judicial capacity. He's just a clerk. I'm going to challenge this jurisdiction, brothers, sisters. I'm going to take the bond back through subjugation, and they're going to have to try to get the bond back from me. And the only way they'll be able to prove and get it back is if they can prove they're acting in a judicial capacity, and they can't. Good luck. You're only in the first and fourth, not the third. The only way you can prove it is in the third. Good luck, Lake County. Good luck, Michael Taylor. Good luck, Chief of Finance, Ted Martin, and your clerk. I'm going to challenge that Judge Vandenberg is not a judge, and he is only a clerk. He's just a clerk. He's operating in commerce. He's not operating in a judicial capacity. So that's what's coming next for me, just so you know. I'll be challenging yes, I would challenge that they have no judicial capacity. They're not operating, they're operating trying to extort my capital letter name, and I'm not a corporation. A statute is that's a dead man, right? A statute is dead. So third article court, there we go. Thank you so much. So you got it. Third article court, they can't. I'll challenge the jurisdiction, and they can't because they're a first or fourth, not a third. There's only one court that's third. Thank you so much. Jade knows something. Not too many people know how this is going to work. I got no other choice, guys. I tried to get them to stand down, but whatever. I'll get the bond back. They can't get it, and then they'll have to drop this. There'll be no way they can continue forward. So already dropped this attorney of record, told him to pound sand, removed, required motion to remove attorney of record. He hadn't done anything, so now I don't have one. I'll file for that power of attorney, and I'll take over my straw man, and I won't let them extort that bond, and they won't be able to convict me because I'm not a statute. Okay, I'm not an they're trying to ORS these violations. Those are crimes of commerce. So I'm not a corporation. So all crimes are crimes of commerce under the statutes, codes, ordinances. Those aren't meant for human beings. Those are meant for an entity, a corporation. So if you're a corporation, good luck. I'm not a corporation, so I have to claim this back. I'll have to take this back. It is what it is. So, all right, guys. Much love, much agape. I'll see you guys for the end of the night. Please keep an eye on me, guys. I am very volatile out here. I don't mean to be sensational. Please keep track of where, if you haven't seen me in a minute, they might have come out and got me. I might not be able to get on this live, so I don't feel very comfort knowing that the elected sheriff said I'm a nutcase. I'm an absolute nutcase. Was he going to try to bring some of this? I don't know. I already had Lake County Sheriff saying they're going to come out here and swat my house again. Now I got to go. I got to take care of this thing, guys. I didn't mean to do that. I just swallowed a whole bunch of blood that came out of my sinuses. I got to go. Much agape. And hello, I am Pastor Apocalypse, Pastor Revelation. Whoa.